Imagine getting the cheat code to travel between our peaceful world and a zombie apocalypse. The second this guy realizes what he has, he immediately cooks up a genius business plan. Steal his way to being filthy rich. He packs a bag full of instant noodles and fresh water, then dives straight into the ruins to loot everything in sight. But reality hits hard when he actually arrives. This place is literal hell, with massive hordes of mindless zombies crawling through ruined streets, just waiting to tear him apart. Looking for a place to hide, he bumps into a survivor. She is completely starved, exhausted, and willing to do absolutely anything just to get a single bite to eat, and that is when he has a major realization. Out here, simple bread is worth way more than gold. Diamond rings and luxury watches are completely worthless compared to a hot meal. He can literally trade cheap grocery store snacks for priceless jewelry, then sell it back home. Talk about an insane side hustle. But who is this guy, anyway? Honestly, it is pretty rare to find a smart main character in these stories. Meet Wong Bin. He is supposedly clever, and apparently quite the lady killer. Do not worry, he is not a total player. He is fiercely loyal to his school crush, Xiao Qian. Wong Bin looks like a happy-go-lucky guy on the outside, but his bank account is actually screaming for help. Whenever he scrapes together any money, he immediately blows it all on her. Oh, and did I mention he is also a top-tier pro gamer? One evening, while grinding at his PC, a weird system notification pops up. It tells him he finished some secret trial in record time, earning him an exclusive ticket to a real-life zombie wasteland. There is just one massive catch if he dies over there. There is no coming back to his normal life. Reading this, Wong Bin puts two and two together. If he survives, he is set for life. He takes a deep breath and clicks the yes button without a second thought. The screen flashes with instructions. He has exactly 4 hours to gather enough survival supplies for 7 days. He eagerly opens his wallet to check his funds only to find it completely empty. He groans, remembering he spent his last dollar on his date with Xiao Qian. Left with no choice, he begs his best friends, Hongfi and Li Ping, for a loan. Fortunately, they help him out, but they warn him to stop simping so hard for Xiao Qian and buy himself something nice instead. Armed with the cash, Wong Bin grabs enough supplies to last him a full week. Meanwhile, Xiao Qian is cruising around in a luxury car with some rich guy. When Wong Bin calls her, she looks at the screen and tells the other guy it is nobody important. Wong Bin is left staring at his phone, completely confused by her sudden hang-up. But before he can overthink it, the ground beneath him starts shaking violently. Just like that, he is pulled straight into the zombie world. Looking around, the sheer silence and ruined buildings make it clear that nobody has lived here for a very long time. He whispers to himself, knowing he needs to watch out for the infected wanderers. Looking through a broken window, he spots a few of those brainless ghouls shambling around in the distance. 7 days is the goal. Since his food and water are packed, he decides to start exploring and get a better feel for this terrifying new environment. Unsheathing a shovel, he scans the area while remembering some survival advice. A sturdy shovel is not just for digging, it makes a pretty solid weapon in a pinch. Stepping lightly, he plans out a safe path, carefully avoiding any crowded zombie zones. He has to avoid senseless fights, slip past distracted zombies, and use noise to throw them off. But as he slips down a quiet, crumbling street, he gets a creepy feeling that someone is watching. Keeping his cool, he opens his phone camera to sneak a peek behind him. Sure enough, he spots a mysterious figure, quickly ducking behind a ruined wall. Is it a smart, mutated zombie, or is it another person? He suddenly remembers a golden rule in an apocalypse. Desperate humans are often way more dangerous than the actual monsters. Terrified, he bolts to find a hiding spot. Running for his life, he wonders if there are other dimension travelers running around this place too, or maybe they are just locals looking to kill him and steal his gear. Just as panic starts creeping in, he spots an old house and leaps through the window for safety. As he tries to catch his breath, footsteps echo nearby. Someone is coming inside, and his gut tells him this person is bad news. The intruder is actually a young girl, who instantly presses a sharp dagger to his face. "Hand over your food and supplies," she demands, "or you are dead." Wong Bin plays dumb, claiming she has the wrong guy, and that his pockets are totally empty. He knows that if he surrenders his backpack, he will never survive his 7-day mission out here. Stealing his nerves, he prepares to fight back. When she lunges forward, Wong swings his shovel to block the blade. She leaps backward, completely caught off guard by his defense. Getting angry, Wong yells that she is the one who tried to rob him. He swings again, but before he can land a hit, she kicks him hard enough to send him crashing into the wall. Before he can even stand up, she is back over him, placing the cold blade right against his neck. "Make another move and you lose your head," she warns. Wong panics and begs for mercy. He quickly offers a deal. He has canned meat and dry rations in his bag, plenty to share if they team up. At the mention of real meat, her mouth literally starts watering. He can tell she is totally distracted by the food. Spotting his chance, he draws his stun gun. The moment she orders him to drop the bag, he zaps her, sending her screaming to the floor. Standing over her, he realizes she is just a starving kid. He tosses some food in front of her, and in exchange, decides to borrow her dagger as rent. As he heads out, she is just relieved to finally have a decent meal. But as Wong steps back onto the streets, his mood turns completely dark. Humans really are the worst monsters here. Suddenly, 3 shady guys block his path, telling him to cough up his entire backpack if he wants to keep breathing. He realizes these guys probably heard the loud commotion from inside the house. Before he can think, a massive thug lunges forward with a heavy wooden club. Wong parries with his trusty shovel, barely deflecting the heavy blow. His adrenaline spikes. He is surrounded by 3 angry thugs, and a simple stun gun is not going to save him from this kind of beatdown. The thugs laugh, calling him a tasty snack and threatening to eat him alive. In a split second, Wong spots an opening and slashes one of their arms open. Fresh blood sprays onto the asphalt, making the bandits panic. They immediately scramble to patch up the wound, knowing the smell of blood will draw every zombie in a 5-mile radius. Wong uses the distraction to bolt. Dodging through the ruins, he realizes this chaotic world is actually kind of a rush. But his excitement cuts short when he turns a corner and hits a massive brick wall. He turns around only to see the 3 thugs closing the distance. The injured bandit growls in pain, demanding Wong's hand as payback for the bloody wound. Their leader steps up, demanding to know who gave Wong the right to mess with the Tiger Head gang. But as they corner him, Wong looks up and notices the Dagger Girl watching from a nearby roof. She slips down right behind the thugs, and Wong recognizes her immediately. With a quick gesture, she warns him to keep his mouth shut. Just as the guys get ready to pounce, she throws a brick right at one of their heads. Down goes the thug, completely dazed. The others spin around in shock, but before they can even process it, she drops from above and plants a brutal kick right on the boss's face. His skull is surprisingly thick, but she doesn't skip a beat. She barks at Wong to hand back her dagger, and he does it in a heartbeat, dying by her blade beats being eaten alive by cannibals. The boss lunges forward, but she finds a sweet spot on his neck and slices it wide open. Blood sprays everywhere as he goes down. Wong just stands there, absolutely paralyzed. He has never actually seen anyone get killed before. While the remaining goons scramble to escape, he frantically tells her to chase them down before they bring back reinforcements. But she grabs his collar instead, telling him to shut up and listen. The noise and the fresh scent of blood are going to drag every hungry wanderer in the area right to them. She yanks him by the hand and drags him along. Running for his life, Wong actually starts to think that maybe she is not so bad after all. Keeping her friendly seems like his absolute best bet for surviving this wasteland. They finally slip into a safe house, and looking out the window, he spots hordes of wanderers roaming the empty streets. Relief washes over him as he realizes his high school track days finally paid off. After being dragged around for a solid hour, he is just glad he did not pass out. Talk about a massive mood swing. When he tries to thank her, she instantly presses that cold blade right back against his throat, demanding he drop his stun gun. Staring at the blade, he tries to stay cool and suggests they talk this through like civilized people. He gently slides the weapon over, which she immediately kicks away, before he begs for some trust by promising her a load of delicious snacks. He fishes a bunch of treats out of his pack, offering her the entire stash if she just lets him crash here for 7 days. Her mouth instantly waters at the sight, and Wong adds that this is barely half of his stash. She stares at the snacks like they are pure gold, muttering about how these luxury items are impossible to find, and asks where he got them. He keeps his mouth shut about his secrets, but begs her to trust him. She remembers how he spared her life earlier, even leaving behind precious food and water when he did not have to. Since no normal survivor would ever do that, she decides to play along. She promises not to pry into his business, but warns him they need to play nice for the time being. Showing him to his quarters, she strictly forbids him from entering her space without asking. He happily agrees, telling her she has absolutely nothing to worry about. Since they are officially roommates, he figures it is time for introductions. He shares his name, and she coldly replies with hers, Guan Xiao. Once she retreats to her room, he steps into his own and lets out a massive sigh of relief. This apocalypse is completely insane, but at least he finally has a place to rest. He notices she has boarded up all the windows, making the room feel pretty secure. Looking at the fancy interior, he can tell this place used to belong to some rich folks before the world ended. He begins snooping around. The drawers are totally bare, and the wardrobe only holds a few ripped rags, which makes total sense given how many scavengers probably picked this place clean. But pulling open another drawer, he gasps. It is loaded with sparkling necklaces and rings. If that jewelry is authentic, it could easily fetch hundreds of thousands back in his own world. He is looking at a literal gold mine. Excitement rushes through him as he realizes this could be his ticket to getting rich, buying a house, and finally proposing to his girl, Zhao. Still, he knows this stuff technically belongs to Guan Xiao, so he needs to ask permission first. Eager to see if they can strike a deal, he marches right over to her room. The moment he swings the door open, he catches her mid-outfit change. Red-faced, he stammers an apology and bolts, leaving her standing there utterly baffled. Mortified, he beats himself up for not knocking first. When she yells out to ask what he wanted, he nervously explains he was just wondering if she would let him have the jewelry in his room. He steps out and shrugs, telling him he can have whatever he finds, since that stuff is useless trash to everyone else. Munching on chips, she casually mentions this whole neighborhood was loaded with rich people's homes. She is genuinely curious why he wants useless rocks you cannot even eat or trade. Wong just smiles, telling her they are actually incredibly valuable to him. She shrugs and promises to show him around for more loot once she finishes her snack. Soon, they are uncovering pile after pile of gems, and Wong can practically hear the cash registers ringing. He estimates this stash is easily worth millions back home. He double-checks if she is absolutely sure she does not want any, and she shrugs, mentioning she actually knows a spot with a massive safe. His eyes light up, and he begs her to lead the way. When they arrive, she explains the safe has a digital lock she has tried cracking dozens of times with zero luck. Checking the safe, Wong notes that these high-end models usually sound silent alarms to the police, but since the entire power grid is completely dead, they literally have all the time in the world to keep guessing the code. His first attempt is a complete bust. Guan tells him to keep guessing while she wanders off to search the rest of the house for anything useful. And just like that, the vault actually opens. Inside lies an absolute mountain of solid gold bars and jewelry boxes. Grinning from ear to ear, he packs up everything except the paper cash, which is totally worthless in his world. Stuffed with loot, they head back to their safe house. As he admires his legendary haul, she munches on some chips and mocks him for staring at useless garbage all afternoon. He explains that he actually has a secret method to turn these useless rocks into the exact same delicious food she is currently stuffing her face with. Eyes wide with surprise, she asks if bringing him more gold means getting more snacks, and he nods before quietly asking his system where he will reappear when his 7 days are up. The system confirms he will spawn within 100 meters of his departure point. Relieved, Wong promises her that as long as she keeps bringing him gold and jewels, he will keep supplying her with the best snacks. She grins, completely thrilled with this deal. She tells him the city is totally out of food, forcing most survivors to live on dried rats and whatever garbage they can scrape up. Snacks like his are legendary luxuries that people would literally kill for. Curious, he asks why nobody here tries to grow their own crops or build proper secure shelters. She explains that after years of chaos, the government built heavily guarded fortresses with massive walls, completely locking out any ordinary wanderers trying to escape the wasteland. Those guarded safe zones are paradise for survivors, though almost nobody gets let inside. Meanwhile, scientists are desperately trying to find a cure for the virus while building a fully self-sustaining society. Having a leader with absolute martial law makes those communities actually work. While the outside world is pure chaos, people inside those walls actually cooperate to survive. But even with all that government order, their daily rations are still barely enough to get by. Returning to the old world is basically a pipe dream at this point. She asks how on earth he trades worthless jewelry for real food. So Wong lies through his teeth, claiming he is a high-end merchant collecting gold to trade with wealthy elites. She offers to guide him around tomorrow for more loot, but warns him never to wander out alone at night because the surrounding streets are packed with her deadly traps. Right as she finishes talking, a sudden noise cuts through the air outside. Someone just tripped one of her traps, she whispers. Peeking out the window, her eyes widen. It is the Tiger Head gang. Wong mutters that he never expected letting one guy escape would blow up in their faces like this. She cuts him off. They have to move right now. Down on the streets, a senior gang leader named Chen asks his tracker, Cyclops, if the girl is really in this building. Cyclops nods, swearing he has seen her lurking around here lately. Chen immediately barks out orders, find her now, but keep her alive. Huddled behind a crumbling wall, Wong whispers to Guan, asking what the plan is. She squeezes his hand and promises to guide him to another safe house. They slip into a nearby building, where Wong spots a bunch of mindless wanderers crawling all over the bottom floor. Even though they are safe upstairs, he grumbles that those groaning monsters downstairs will definitely keep him awake all night. Guan assures him that the stairs to this second floor are completely broken. As long as they keep their voices down, those brainless things down there cannot touch them. Wong pulls out his smartphone, and Guan looks completely stunned to see it actually has battery power in this wasteland. She asks him with a sweet smile if he has any music. He gently slips the earbuds into her ears and hits play. Watching her soft expression, he realizes how different she looks compared to the fierce warrior she was earlier. Right now, she is just an ordinary girl. They sit close, and as the melody flows, tears begin to well up in her eyes. Golden memories of her long-lost parents rush back all at once. Snapping out of it, she hands the earphones back, warning him that his battery will drain too quickly. Wong looks at her, softly asking why she is crying. She sniffles and explains it has been ages since she heard anything so beautiful. It just reminds her too much of her family. But Wong gently slides the earbud back in and insists they finish the track together. He promises to bring her a brand new phone and some fully charged power banks on his next trip, making her beam. Looking at her, he thinks she is incredibly cute. But wait. Remember the girlfriend? Buddy. He is with Zhao. He can't wander. By morning, both of them are still fast asleep, while the soft music hums in their ears. Once they wake up, Guan decides to fill him in on the local factions. She spreads out a map and points directly to the Western District, explaining that the Tiger Head gang owns this whole area. She mentions that those 3 thugs who cornered him last night were card-carrying members of this faction, which happens to rule this side of the city with an iron fist. Guan explains that if the area was not crawling with wanderers, the gang would have never let a single soul get away. She warns him that their big boss, a man named Hu, commands over 60 ruthless men and has more than 10 firearms in his arsenal. They operate out of the Rainbow Elite Tower, the tallest skyscraper on the west side. It is fully fortified and even has a massive supermarket stocked up inside. Wong sighs, realizing that taking on 60 armed men for payback is basically a suicide mission. Guan nods in agreement but reveals that there are 3 other major gangs ruling this wasteland. First is the Shark Gang dominating the east, which is the undisputed heaviest hitter around. Their supreme leader, Xing, commands over 100 soldiers and has at least 20 firearms. Next is the Grizzly Gang up north, run by a guy named Xiang. They have nearly 100 members and over 12 firearms. The bottom of the barrel is the Eagle Gang in the south, led by Fei. They only have 40 men and 7 guns, but they have locked down a stash of military grenades and explosives. That is exactly why nobody dares to cross them. Outside of these big 4, she explains there are tiny scavenger packs of 3 to 5 people, plus solo survivors like her. Honestly, there are less than 1,000 living souls left in the entire city. 2 million citizens wiped out, turned into flesh eaters, or run away. This is peak post-apocalypse, guys. So, naturally, Wong's only priority is asking her where they keep all the gold. Guan shrugs, admitting she never really cared about paper money. When the world collapsed, banks were ransacked and cash instantly became totally worthless paper. But she points out that if real gold is left anywhere, it is probably inside the Shark Gang headquarters. Their base used to be the city's central bank, where armored trucks packed with wealth were kept. She strongly warns him to forget about getting anywhere near that vault, and he quickly nods in agreement. For the next few days, the duo remains completely cooped up in their hideout. Every now and then, they spot Tiger Head gang scouts lurking around the streets below. But because this building is infested with wanderers, those thugs do not dare to push their luck inside. Finally, the day comes for Wong to head back to his own world. He packs up and tells Guan he is leaving all his supplies behind for her. Her jaw drops as she asks how he will survive with 0 food. He smiles and explains he will only be gone for 7 days, so she just needs to stay safe until he gets back. He promises that in exactly 7 days, he will return right to this spot for her. Hearing this, Guan gives him a tight, adorable hug and begs him to take her along. Wong apologizes, telling her he cannot cross over with a passenger, but he swears on his life he will return with mountains of delicious food and gear next week. She reluctantly nods. Alone in his room, waiting for the countdown to teleport back, Wong realizes telling anyone about his respawn point was a massive rookie mistake. But after sharing these past few days together, he knows he can trust her with his life. After all, he is the one who dragged her into this mess. He made her a target for the Tiger Head gang. Once he returns home and cashes in all this jewelry and gold, he will buy her the best gear money can buy. While he plans his shopping list, Guan sits gloomily right outside the door. Suddenly, the teleportation timer hits 0. Guan opens the door to check on him. Empty. Her heart sinks immediately. Meanwhile, back in Wong's modern world, another young couple shares a romantic moment under a leafy tree. Out of nowhere, Wong spawns right in the grass, completely ruining their vibe. He quickly apologizes for the intrusion, takes a breath of fresh air, and mutters that compared to that hellhole, this place is literal heaven. With his backpack absolutely loaded with gold and gems, he is dying to share the jackpot with Zhao. He quickly dials her up, asking to meet up right away. Zhao tells him she is busy checking out real estate with his family, and will call him back later. Wong eagerly asks which house they are looking at, wanting to join them. And oh boy, get this, Zhao's actual boyfriend is right there, nudging her to play Wong for a fool so they can steal his money for a house. Shameless, right? She tells Wong to meet at the Jinbi Lu Chuchen sales office. Hyped out of his mind, Wong hangs up and plans to sell his gold first so he can surprise Zhao with a luxury villa. He marches straight into a high-end jewelry store, walking right up to the receptionist at the counter. He asks to speak with the manager about a major transaction. The girl looks him up and down with massive attitude, snapping that the boss is way too busy and he can just talk to her. Wong calmly fires back that she is not paid enough to make these decisions. Annoyed, she tells him to get lost and stop wasting their time. But then, Wong reveals his glittering gemstone. She glances at it, but because she knows nothing about real gems, she snorts and threatens to call security on this con artist. Right as she starts shouting, the manager walks over. He introduces himself as Zhang and asks to inspect the rock. The second Wong places it in his hands, Zhang's eyes go wide at the flawless, pristine purity of the gem. The receptionist tries to frame Wong as a lying scammer, but Zhang barks at her to shut up and go brew their guests some tea. He escorts Wong straight into the VIP room. While Wong casually sips a soda, Zhang studies the priceless stone. Wong lays it down. If the offer is lowball, he is walking out, but a fair price gets him a done deal. Zhang begins to sweat buckets, fully realizing he is holding a literal fortune. Wong starts getting a bit anxious while Zhang takes his sweet time. Out of nowhere, Zhang breaks the silence and offers a cool 8 million for the gem. Wong puts on his best poker face, playing hard to get. Terrified his seller will walk, Zhang panics and throws in another 500,000. Rambling about design fees, labor, and taxes to justify the massive leap. On the inside, Wong is absolutely throwing a party. He takes a slow sip of tea, signs off on the deal, and plays the tragic card about his family's financial struggles. Then he casually drops the bomb. He has 9 more of these gems. Is Zhang buying or what? Jen is completely floored and eagerly snaps up the entire batch. As Wong heads out, Zhang and the receptionist bow him away, only for Jen to instantly snap at the receptionist for almost ruining the deal. The poor receptionist apologizes, as Zhang demands she treat Wong like royalty next time. Meanwhile, Wong kicks back in a taxi, stares at his banking app, and watches 64 million sit in his account. Yesterday, he was completely broke. Today, he is swimming in cash. Wong realizes he still has a bag full of gold bars to liquidate, but doing it here might raise some major red flags. Selling everything in one spot is just asking for trouble. So, he plays it smart and tells the taxi driver to take him over to Jim Luchuang. Arriving at the gates, Wong feels a bit jittery despite his massive fortune. Walking into a high-end property sale is a whole new world for him. A luxury he never could have pictured back in his broke days. But times have changed, and he is ready to buy luxury villas for his parents and his sweet Zhao. Just as he is getting emotional, his phone starts buzzing. It is her. Wong turns around only to spot some random guy named Li cozying up next to her. Zhao gets visibly anxious when Wong asks who the interloper is, prompting Li to mock Wong for dressing like a total beggar. A crowd begins to gather around the dramatic scene, whispering about how cheap Wong looks. Some snobs even joke that he looks straight off a construction site. Zhao turns to Wong and casually dumps him right on the spot. She explains that graduation is close, life is getting real, and she has found a rich man who can actually buy her a house. Wong desperately tries to talk some sense into her, insisting he can provide for her too. He even asks if this clown is blackmailing her into saying this. Li steps in with a sneer, threatening to chop off Wong's finger if he keeps pointing it at him. Wong does not back down and glares right back. Zhao snaps at Wong to get lost, but Li decides to twist the knife. He asks Wong what he is going to do about the fact that he has already touched every inch of Zhao. That does it. Wong launches a brutal kick straight into Li's chest, sending him flying backward. Zhao grabs Wong to hold him back, but he warns her that nobody is stopping his rampage today. Zhao responds with a sharp slap across his face, screaming that they are officially finished. She insults him as a disgusting, broke loser before running over to coddle her precious Li. Wong stands frozen as the harsh truth hits home. A physical house, easily crushed years of loyal love. Right on cue, 2 beefy security guards step in to escalate things. The arrogant receptionist demands they throw him out, but the sales director intervenes just in time. He gently asks Wong to leave, hoping to avoid any unnecessary public drama. Wong asks if this is how they treat paying customers, but the receptionist scoffs, pointing out that their cheapest property costs a staggering 5 to 6 million. The sales director quickly cuts her off, scolding her for behaving so poorly in front of clients. He tells her flat out that if she cannot maintain professionalism, she is fired. Wong scoffs that he came to purchase a luxury home, but their abysmal staff and security have completely ruined his mood. The director apologizes, but quickly reminds Wong that he is currently disrupting the peace and assaulting guests. He drops a subtle threat, warning that if Wong is just wasting time, they will happily call the police. Wong fires back, repeating that he was serious about buying, but their low standards have completely killed his interest. Leaving the staff stunned, Wong turns to Zhao, wishing her a very sarcastic good luck with her life. The sales director hurriedly blocks his path, asking about his actual budget. Wong casually responds that he is only looking for villas priced over 20 million. The receptionist gasps, but the director keeps his cool and claims they have the perfect spot. He brings up a premium villa by Emerald Lake, starting at 20 million, and offers a tour. Wong agrees to show his funds, but with a wicked smirk, he sets a condition: if he has the cash, the guards and the receptionist must crawl around the hall on their knees. The director takes the bet. Zhao frantically begs her boyfriend Li to stay out of this, but Li is too proud to listen. He shoves Zhao away and lunges at Wong with a wild punch, but right as he gets close, Wong pulls a solid gold bar from his bag and smashes it across his face, drawing blood. The crowd stares in absolute shock at the heavy gold bar. Wong looks at Zhao and remarks that if she settles for someone who has no real respect, she certainly never deserved him. He bids her farewell and walks away. The receptionist mutters angrily that Wong just knocked out her biggest VIP client, while the sales director keeps staring at the gold bar in awe. Wong pulls up his bank account on his phone, revealing a massive balance of 70 million. The sales director is completely left speechless. He instantly bows and apologizes, declaring Wong as his most esteemed VIP guest from now on. He then turns to the receptionist and the two guards, ordering them to crawl around the showroom floor or get fired on the spot. Completely humiliated, the three of them drop to their knees and begin to crawl. As onlookers snap pictures, the director eagerly asks Wong if his service is up to par. Wong still looks a bit annoyed, so the director immediately orders the crawling trio to complete an extra 100 laps around the building. Later, Wong is soaking in a bath, reflecting on his new 30 million villa. It was not a spite purchase. He genuinely needed a private sanctuary to store his massive, growing hoard of treasures. Back on the university campus, Wong's two friends, Hong and Ping, are frantically calling him to vent about Zhao's absolute betrayal, but Wong is not picking up. Suddenly, Hong gets a text showing a deposit of 1 million, assuming it is just some stupid scam. Ping gets the exact same notification. He logs into his mobile banking app and nearly faints. The 1 million is actually sitting there. Just then, a call from Wong comes through. They ask him why he did not reach out after Zhao dumped him, but Wong casually replies that he is just taking a cab back to his hometown. They warn him to stay low, since Li has serious family backing and is not a guy to play with, but Wong changes the subject, asking if they saw the deposit. They ask if he sent it. He confirms the cash, telling them he won the lottery and wanted to pay them back for always having his back. When they ask for the total jackpot, Wong casually replies it was 1 billion. His two friends are left absolutely speechless. Recovering from the shock, they quickly warn him to keep a low profile even with his new fortune. They warn him that Li is incredibly vindictive and has the connections to hunt him down. Wong tells them not to sweat it, promises a night of drinks when he gets back, and hangs up. Before long, Wong finally arrives back at his family home. His parents are absolutely thrilled to see him after his long absence. Over dinner, Wong casually drops the news that he won the lottery and brought back a fortune. His parents are completely stunned but overjoyed. Still, he keeps quiet about the post-apocalyptic world. They would definitely think he had completely lost his mind. But as he looks around, Wong knows this trip is not just about family. He is actually searching for someone specific. Later that night, he heads over to a different house. The man who opens the door looks stunned to see Wong standing there. Wong politely explains that he just wanted to catch up, offering a bottle of liquor as a gift. The older man, Xiao, warmly invites him inside. As they sit, Wong remembers that Xiao used to be an avid hunter back in the day. Back then, Xiao owned everything from gunpowder firearms to high-powered air guns. But with strict new weapon laws, the old man rarely went into the mountains to hunt anymore. Xiao pours them both a drink and kindly offers his assistance, telling Wong to just ask if he needs anything at all. Wong thanks him and admits he is actually here to buy his old air gun. Xiao looks shocked and asks if he is planning some trouble. Wong quickly laughs it off, explaining that he is graduating soon and just wants to try hunting small animals with a classmate in a remote area. It is purely for fun, which is why he wants the air gun. Hearing this, Xiao nods and generously offers to lend him the weapon for free. A moment later, he hands over the air gun, telling Wong to use it safely. Along with the gun, he gives him a tranquilizer pistol and a vial of knockout liquid. Xiao warns him that this stuff is strong enough to drop a wild boar, so he must be extremely careful. Having secured the gear and said his goodbyes to his family, Wong quickly makes his way back to the city. Preparing to cross back into the wasteland, he feels incredibly ready this time. He has packed tons of food, a smartphone, and 10 fully charged power banks to keep things running for Guan. On top of that, He bought a fresh dagger, a heavy machete, and some mining detonators from back home. He knows 1 day in his world equals 7 days in the apocalypse, and he wonders how Guan has survived this past week. Suddenly, the familiar system voice breaks his thoughts. It warns that living signatures are detected within 10 meters of his exit point, asking for confirmation. Wong quickly agrees, and in a flash of light, he is back in his post-apocalyptic room. Meanwhile, Guan is sitting alone, quietly crying as she stares at their very last bag of food. Suddenly, Wong materializes with a warm smile, announcing that he is finally back. Guan jumps up in pure joy, throwing her arms around him. She gasps that she is so happy he actually returned. Wong just laughs, reminding her that he always keeps his word. He tells her he brought heaps of amazing food and suggests they eat while catching up. But as he holds her, Wong notices she is covered in fresh bruises, prompting him to ask what happened during those 7 days. Guan explains that the Tigerhead Gang and several other hostile factions have been actively hunting for them under direct orders from their chief. Since she had no idea how he vanished, she spent almost all her time searching for any trace of him. Wong realized that Guan actually cares for him more than even Xiao Chan ever did. Overwhelmed with anger, Wong pulls her close and vows that those who touched her will pay dearly. He then starts unpacking his gear, and when she spots the air gun, her eyes completely light up. She notes that while it lacks a true rifle's punch, it is still deadly. Wong reassures her that it is silent, easy to hide, and completely hers now. Next, he presents the massive food stash, enough to feed them both for a month. Guan is utterly amazed and begins eating ravenously while he watches. Catching him looking, she shyly asks why he is not eating and offers him a bite. Wong then hands her the phone, along with 10 fully charged power banks to keep it running. Seeing the phone, tears fill her eyes as she whispers how incredibly kind he is. She adds that since her parents died in the apocalypse, nobody has treated her with this much care. Wong gently tells her not to cry, promising that they will listen to plenty of music together to help cheer her up. Wong gathers info on what happened while he was gone. A massive food shortage had sparked a clash between the Tigerhead and Grizzly gangs. Luckily, only a few lives were lost. He also notices some survivors packing up to seek government shelters. To Wong, this looks like the perfect chaos to plan his next move. Later on the rooftop, Guan practices with her new airgun, hitting a large poster dead center. Seeing her incredible aim, Wong asks if she is absolutely sure she has never shot before. Guan smiles, saying that while its power is limited, the weapon can easily take out a target from over 50 meters away. Wong advises her to just get a bit closer, since the silent weapon makes detection nearly impossible. Guan then asks if he really thinks they can wipe out both rival gangs. Wong smiles, confidently explaining that tonight is about causing absolute chaos, not starting an all-out war. Besides, that heavy gold is likely untouched, meaning it is still sitting safe in the bank vault. He explains that to breach the bank, they must drag the Shard Gang right into the middle of the mess. The ultimate plan is to turn all 4 factions against each other. Under that cover of total confusion, finding the gold will be easy. Guan wonders how they can trigger such a massive war. Wong explains they just need to plant seeds of suspicion to spark pure hatred, and those detonators he brought from home will do exactly that. Currently, only the Grizzly Gang possesses explosives. By planting these detonators, they will make Brother H believe his rivals are the ones executing the attacks. Guan praises his genius, but Wong notes that with so many gang members around, they will likely have sentries posted all night, making sneaking in quite tricky. Guan reassures him not to worry, explaining that with no electricity, the board guards usually fall asleep around 8 or 9 p.m. She adds that she knows the Rainbow Elite Tower inside out. It has so many side entrances that the lazy guards cannot possibly watch them all. Wong breathes a sigh of relief. This makes their break-in much simpler. He tells her to get ready because tonight is the night. Slipping through a secret path, they successfully enter. He is amazed that the place is practically empty, exactly as Guan promised. Sneaking further inside, they spot a lone guard boy, fast asleep in his chair. Wong whispers that they should leave him sleep. Their real target is way up on the 5th floor. He guesses the gang elites are bunking on the 4th floor, while the boss probably lives on the 5th. That is also likely where they store all their precious supplies. Wong decides they will target the 5th floor, hunt down the stash, and blow it sky high. Creeping quietly to the top floor, they suddenly overhear 2 men talking. 2 thugs are complaining about their empty stomachs. One warns they only have a month of food left, wondering if they should raid the Grizzly Gang. The other sighs. They have no choice. It is either fight those bears or starve to death. But the second thug is terrified. The Grizzly crew is packing major heat, including grenades and serious explosives. He suggests grabbing the food and running, but his buddy quickly shushes him. Boss Hu is sleeping right inside. Eavesdropping nearby, Wong realizes their target is right behind that door. Once the thugs walk away, Wong and Guan creep closer. Hearing loud snoring from inside, Wong whispers that Hu is definitely in there. He spots a heavily locked door nearby and guesses it is the main supply room. Guan whispers about the conversation they just overheard. It is only a matter of time before these two rival gangs go to war. He asks if they even need to stir the pot anymore. Wong hesitates. He cannot explain the details, but he only has 7 days left here. The Tigerhead gang can survive another month, but he cannot wait that long. They need to force this clash immediately. Guan nods in agreement, but Wong spots a massive lock on the supply door and groans. Guan just smirks. She pulls out a tiny lockpicking wire and tells him she has this covered. Wong is completely blown away by her hidden talents. Meanwhile, some creepy wanderers start crawling through the window they used to get in. The guard sleeping on the chair suddenly wakes up in pure terror. Downstairs, the other gang members hear the noise and rush up to investigate the second floor. Meanwhile, Wong and Guan pop the lock, finally stepping into a massive room loaded with supplies. Wong tells Guan to quickly set the dynamite so they can make a run for it. Suddenly, shouting echoes outside about a wanderer invasion. The whole place is on high alert. They must move fast. Over in the bedroom, some thugs try to wake their boss, who violently bursts out. He clocks a guy right in the face, screaming that he explicitly told them never to wake him up. But once they yell that wanderers have breached the base, Hu panics. He sprints straight to his stash. He opens the door to find spilled alcohol and active dynamite littered all over. Before he can even process this, a massive explosion rips through the room, sending them flying. Hu screams in pure rage, fully believing the Grizzly gang just blew up his food. Up in the ceiling pipes, Wong and Guan are slipping away. Looking down at the fiery chaos, Wong grins. The plan is working beautifully. Seriously guys, who does not love a little strategic home wrecking? Next up, they will find a way to make the Shark and Eagle gangs destroy each other too. Guan slides down from a pipe first, whispering to Wong that the coast is clear, no guards in sight. But suddenly, a swarm of wanderers floods through the main door. She pulls her gun and unloads, but seeing the massive horde, she nopes right out of there. Suddenly, a Tigerhead thug blocks her path. He instantly recognizes her as the girl they have been hunting. It was her, not the Grizzlies, who blew up his stash. Without hesitation, Guan pops a bullet right through his skull. But now she is trapped. There are probably more thugs ahead, and a mob of hungry wanderers is closing in from behind. Just as a monster leaps to bite her, Wong steps in. With one incredibly swift, brutal swing of his shovel, he slices the creature into literal pieces. He hands her a sharp new dagger. In a tight squeeze, melee weapons are much more reliable. He admits that while he has killed plenty of zombies in video games, real life is terrifying. He grins, saying if they survive this, they will be official brothers in arms. With a burst of adrenaline, they charge directly into the horde, fighting side by side to carve a path to freedom. Back home, Wong collapses in sheer relief. He sighs that they got incredibly lucky. If a few more of those monsters had breached the building, they would be dead meat. Guan is practically starving, but her eyes light up when Wong presents a massive feast. He smiles, telling her she can eat whatever she wants tonight to celebrate their successful raid. She vacuums down the food at record speed. Wong is completely stunned. When he cracks open a cold beer, she gives him an adorable pout, begging for a sip. Wong laughs. Sorry kid, juice only. He tells her he is going to his room to wash up and change. The second he walks away, Guan eyeballs his beer, determined to sneak a taste. Meanwhile, Wong retreats to his bedroom. Pulling out his phone, he commands the system to pull up the alert he received during the battle. An interface flashes before him, displaying his current post-apocalyptic stats. The system clarifies that these stats are scaled to this brutal new world. Here, survivors possess physical traits that completely shatter the limits of average humans back home. It adds that he can use his stockpiled gold to upgrade the system, allowing his strength to skyrocket. A second upgrade will even unlock a lucky wheel lottery, offering weapons, food, and insane power-ups. Now, highly intrigued, Wong asks how much gold the very first upgrade will set him back. The system demands a whopping 1,000 kilograms of gold. This will unlock a 50 cubic meter portable pocket dimension. Wong's face falls. That price tag is absolutely brutal, but the system insists it is an incredible bargain. If he pulls a rare skill book during the process, he will gain overpowered abilities to stay alive. On top of that, he can level up by slaying wanderers. Best of all, every single stat and power he gains here can be taken back to his original world. Wong double-checks if there are any nasty side effects. The system promises zero. Relieved, he logs off and steps out, only to find Guan completely passed out after chugging his entire beer. He gently scoops her up and carries her to bed. Staring down at her peaceful face, he smiles. She is insanely adorable, honestly, even cuter than Xiao Qian. He snaps out of his daze and quickly bolts from the room. Guan opens her eyes, letting out a small sigh. She is actually a bit disappointed he was such a gentleman. The next morning, they head east. While navigating the ruins, Guan suddenly stops and sniffs like a puppy. Her eyes widen. She catches the scent of fresh cooked meat and immediately sprints toward the delicious smell. Wong grabs her arm, warning her. In this wasteland, free food is usually a trap. Nearby, a thug named Chen catches the same scent and orders his men to investigate. Watching from a roof, Wong points out that the leader looks familiar. Guan nods. That is Chen. He used to be a tiger-head thug, but jumped ship when supplies got tight. Suddenly, a sharp female voice rings out from a nearby building. She tells Chen to freeze or get shot. Chen smirks, instantly recognizing her as Miao. He mocks her. Apparently, he heard she caught a wild boar and his boys want a taste. Guan whispers to Wong that Miao was a tough police officer before society collapsed. When everything went to hell, she turned this ruin into a fortress. Her small group includes Chengping, an older cop who used to be her mentor. The rest of her crew are 5 or 6 helpless civilians, mostly women and kids. Why has she not relocated? Guan explains her old mentor has a badly mangled leg. Wong admires her loyalty, realizing she refuses to abandon her family. Guan asks if he wants to play hero. He nods. They are going to need some reliable allies to smash the shark gang. Down below, Miao warns Chen to hunt elsewhere. There is plenty of game left, but Chen just sneers. His team came back empty-handed, so they are taking hers instead. Inside the shelter, Chengping asks Miao if they should just share some meat with Chen's group. Miao instantly shuts that down. Giving in now just teaches those scavengers to demand even more tomorrow. She spins back to Chen and makes it clear she hunted that wild boar herself, and if he wants a bite, he has to fight for it. Chen laughs, pointing out she only has 2 handguns against his entire squad. He claims she cannot possibly shoot them all. Well, Miao answers by immediately shooting one of his guys right in the chest. Furious, Chen orders an all-out assault, telling his shooters to blast the windows for cover while the rest rush the doors. As glass shatters everywhere, Miao realizes she is dangerously low on ammunition. Chengping warns her that more goons are flooding the stairs, heading up to block them. But just as the front line breaks in, Wong tells Guan to line up her sights and pull the trigger. She fires instantly, dropping the lead shooter. Chen gasps, totally blindsided by this unexpected third party, giving Miao the perfect opening to pick off another gangster. When a thug tries to aim at her, Guan shoots the weapon clean out of his hand. Realizing they are being sniped from afar, a panicked Chen orders his remaining men to take cover. The thugs scramble into an alley while Chen fumes, wondering who would dare mess with the legendary shark gang. Meanwhile, Miao runs downstairs to check if Chengping is still holding up. She asks how he is holding up, and he proudly reports that he already dealt with 2 guys who tried to breach his side. Miao nods, noting that while the shark gang outgunned them, some mysterious helper just saved their skins. Thanks to that unseen sniper, the enemy gunners have backed off into the dark. Inside the hallway, Chen's nervous thugs ask for a plan, even suggesting they might have to surrender. Chen plays it cool, raising his voice to tell Miao they should negotiate like civilized people. Miao mockingly asks if he wants to talk terms now. Given the floor, Chen begs her to tell that outside sniper to let them leave, swearing he will never bother her again. Chengping looks at her, totally confused. Miao whispers that they cannot let Chen realize the sniper is actually a stranger. She then shouts outside, declaring that the shark gang has surrendered and the shooter should hold fire. Guan is lost. Wong tells her he will handle Miao, instructing her to just trust him. And here's the ultimate bait and switch. The second Chen's men step out. Wong orders Guan to fire. Amidst the sudden chaos, Chen proves he is a terrible boss by grabbing his own ally as a human shield to escape. Guan warns Wong that Chen is slipping out of her line of sight. Wong remains totally relaxed, telling her to just wait. He then casually steps forward, holding a snack as he approaches Miao's hideout. When Miao and Chengping spot him, they are thoroughly baffled. Wong quickly waves his hands, telling them there is absolutely no reason to worry since he just wants a friendly chat. Miao coldly warns him that if he is here to steal food, he can turn right back around. Wong just smiles, explaining he actually wants to team up, presenting some delicious snacks as a peace offering. Seeing their guard drop slightly, Wong promises he wants to wipe out all the local gangs so they can finally live in peace. After a quick whisper, Miao and Chengping decide to listen. Miao agrees and lets him inside. But the second he steps through the threshold, she jams a cold pistol against his forehead, ordering him to drop all his gear. Wong smoothly lowers his backpack, insisting he only brought treats. Miao signals a young boy named Xian to inspect it, and the kid gasps in pure wonder at the mountain of snacks inside. Relieved, Miao lowers her gun and tells him they should talk upstairs. As they make their way up, Chengping gives Wong a much warmer welcome. Wong looks around and notices that along with Xian, 3 quiet little girls are staring at him with deep suspicion. He just gives them a warm, friendly grin. Miao apologizes, explaining these orphans went through pure hell before she found them, leaving them terrified of outsiders. Wong smiles as she finally holsters her gun, taking it as a quiet victory. Getting straight to the point, she demands to know his real goal. Wong answers honestly he wants her help to completely dismantle the shark gang. Stunned, Miao asks if he has any idea how massive that gang is. But before she can finish, Xian bounces up, excitedly asking if they are really going to fight them. Wong chuckles at the kid. He admits it sounds totally insane, but points out that the Tiger Head gang and the Grizzly gang are already tearing each other apart. If they can trick the Shark gang and the Eagle gang into a similar war, they can easily sweep up the pieces. Miao admits the strategy is solid, but she still declines. She explains that her absolute priority is protecting these children. With Changping's leg severely injured, she simply does not have the energy or resources for a massive gang war. She just wants to gather supplies and escape as fast as possible. Wong just smiles. He promises that if she joins him, they will never run out of food. Right then, Xian runs over holding the treats, excitedly shouting that they have never seen so much delicious food in their lives. Miao hesitates, staring at the pile. Wong quickly jumps in, assuring her that the food is completely safe and untainted. He asks her for a final decision. Miao realizes that partnering with him means her family gets access to these premium supplies on a daily basis. They would never have to risk their lives scavenging in the ruins again. Weighing her options, she turns to Changping for advice. He gently smiles, telling her he trusts whatever choice she makes. Suddenly, the kids speak up. They are tired of hiding in fear. It is time to fight. They refuse to be a burden anymore and hate seeing her hold back just for their sake. When Miao warns them that a gang war will get them killed, Xian snaps, shouting that he will fight them alone if she is too afraid. She tells him to cool it, though she understands his pain. The Shark gang murdered his parents, leaving him fueled by pure revenge. Seeing his attitude, Wong gently ruffles the boy's hair, asking how he can speak to his savior like that. He reminds Xian that Miao only acts to keep them safe, and if she were a coward, she would have abandoned them years ago. Wong tells him to act like a man and apologize for being so disrespectful. Xian looks down and mutters a quick apology, prompting Miao to smirk and ask if they really think she scares that easily. She admits she wants nothing more than to crush those thugs, but the reality is brutal. They are completely outmatched in numbers and weapons. She demands to know his master plan. Wong reveals he was the mastermind who sparked the war between the Grizzly and Tiger Head gangs, and he is confident he can trick the other factions too. All she needs to do is back him up, and he will handle all the heavy firepower. Miao points out that with Changping crippled and the kids being completely defenseless, she is the only active fighter they have. Wong chuckles, telling Xian that as the man of the house, he better gear up. Miao smiles and declares it is time to move out. Wong leads them back to Guan's hideout, where she is busy checking out a captured weapon. She complains it is powerful but way too loud, basically acting like a dinner bell for enemies. While she works, the kids and Changping happily dig into their snack haul. Miao asks Wong if he and Guan are really the only crazy ones fighting this gang, but he laughs, saying they have her now. He assures her they will be fine, because Guan is an absolute monster with a sniper rifle. Meanwhile, Changping happily cracks open a cold beer, completely relaxed. Guan playfully admits she drank most of the beer Wong brought. Miao asks Changping if this stuff is seriously worth 3 bullets. Changping nods, confirming every single drop is worth it. While they enjoy the taste, Wong promises to bring more next time. He hands a can to Miao, who is shocked by how refreshing it is, while the kids happily munch on some extra snacks. Suddenly, a massive explosion rattles a nearby building. Guan figures the Tiger Head gang and the Grizzly gang are finally throwing down. Wong turns to Miao, letting her know his wild plan is officially in motion. Miao wonders why they do not just run away since they have plenty of food. But Wong explains that these 4 awful gangs have terrorized people for too long. He is done playing nice. With his new power, he wants them wiped out. He knows Miao is sharp, so he keeps his ultimate goal, finding the hidden gold, completely to himself. Next, Wong hands Xiaoan the gun left by the Shark gang. Guan is horrified that he is arming a literal child, but Wong reminds her that in this brutal wasteland, even a kid has to grow up fast. With this weapon, he can protect his sisters. Xiaoan looks to Miao for approval, and she nods. Wong then tells the boy that shooting practice starts first thing tomorrow morning. Miao quietly wonders who this guy really is, hand-delivering loaded firearms like party favors. She tells the kids to get some sleep, since they have an early start tomorrow. Next morning, after a quick breakfast, the trio heads toward the Shark gang hideout. Since Miao knows the area like the back of her hand, they easily find a perfect vantage point, but the gang security is tight. Their only play is a sneak attack. Peering down from above, our trio quietly scopes out the guards below. Wong points out that only a few of them have actual guns while the rest carry blunt weapons. Miao agrees the armed ones die first. Before anyone can react, she snipes a guard dead. The thugs scramble, completely blind to where the shot came from. Miao and Guan prepare to open fire again, but Wong stops them right there, saying that is enough for now. It is time to frame the Eagle Gang next. Naturally, the Shark Gang boss is absolutely livid when he finds out. His men assume that since the other two main gangs are busy fighting, the Eagle Gang is behind this. The angry goons want to wipe out the Eagle Gang immediately, but their boss holds them back. He senses a trap, realizing the Eagle Gang would never risk an all-out war right now. He suspects a mysterious third party is trying to play them against each other. When his underling Bio asks what to do, the boss orders him to hunt for any new faces in town. He also tells Bio to gather their forces because things are about to get ugly. Secretly, the boss plans to exploit the chaos. With two other gangs tearing each other apart, he can swallow the Eagle Gang whole, then pick off the survivors one by one. Sometime later, the boss is chilling, playing a board game, when his lackeys burst in. They deliver some shocking news. One of their nearby outposts is completely engulfed in flames. Wong and Miao loot weapons off the fallen Eagle Gang members. Wong smiles, thinking about how his crew is finally packing some serious heat. Right on cue, Guan shows up with a torch, proudly announcing she torched the place as planned. Wong smirks. Mission complete. It is time to bounce. Just like that, all four gangs are dancing to his tune. The war between the Tigerhead and Grizzly gangs is raging out of control. At the same time, the Eagle and Shark gangs are basically a ticking time bomb, waiting to explode. Wong has them exactly where he wants them. After sneaking back home, while the rest of the crew sleeps, our mastermind heads up to the roof to practice his terrible aim. He takes a few shots at empty beer cans and misses every single one. Talk about embarrassing. Miao sneaks up, teasing him for wasting valuable ammo. Wong asks if he woke her up. Smiling, she says she just wanted some fresh air, then offers to give him some shooting lessons. Wong gets a bit distracted by her cute dress, but gladly accepts the expert help. She soft smiles, saying she actually owes him for helping her find her old spark again. She takes the pistol, aims, and fires a single round. Boom. Right through the center of the can. Wong is speechless. She reveals she was a cop before the world ended, and worked with Chongping to protect survivors. But when food ran out, humanity turned ugly. She watched her colleagues die one by one, making her lose faith in her own morals. With no order left, she felt there was simply no point in playing hero anymore. Meeting Xiaoan and the kids kept her going. She shields them, but admits she lost the spark to fight the darkness. Wong tells her it is amazing that she managed to protect Xiaoan and the kids, despite the ruthless gangs and severe food shortages. The gang lords, she explains, were just cheap crooks she used to lock up. Now they rule the city, attracting thugs to terrorize innocent folks while she was forced to watch helplessly. Feeling completely useless is normal here, but Wong reassures her. He says that in a broken world like this, simply keeping your humanity is a massive victory. Keeping her morals and caring for the kids is more than he can say. He calls her remarkable, then asks if she is finally going to teach him. She steps closer, gently holding his hand to guide his aim. Talk about romantic tension. She whispers that once he trusts his instincts, he will be a natural. Focusing on a single point is key, aligning the sights with the target. Wong takes a deep breath, squeezes the trigger, and gasps as the bullet hits dead center. With enough practice, she smiles. He will get better. Wong notes that once they finish off these gangs, they need to take a bow and head to the rendezvous point. Will he seriously take them along? Wong nods, promising they will all escape together once he wraps up some business. Get that talk for now, she says, telling him to practice. Meanwhile, Guan is spying on them from the shadows, looking pretty jealous as Miao gets cozy with Wong. Meanwhile, the war between the Tigerhead and Grizzly gangs hits a boiling point. Wong and Guan sneak into the war zone to gather some intel. Desperate after losing their supplies, the Tigerhead gang goes completely feral, wiping out the Grizzly gang but losing almost everyone in the process. Only 12 guys survive. The racket traps the remaining Tigerhead survivors in a building surrounded by thousands of hostile wanderers. Seizing the opportunity, the Shark gang launches an all-out assault to claim the throne. Meanwhile, the Eagle gang's mole inside the Shark gang leaks some massive news. Their rival's headquarters only has 12 guards left. This is the absolute perfect time to strike. As two guards enter, Wong drops one instantly and presses a barrel into the other's spine, telling him to play nice if he wants to live. Guan and Miao back him up. The guard warns them that a heavy machine gunner is protecting the food upstairs, but Wong smirks, saying he is not here for food. He wants the gold. The terrified man leads them down to the basement, pointing out the vault. When Wong asks about traps, the guy begs, saying his life is literally in their hands. Miao tells Wong to make the guard walk first, and Wong nods in agreement. As the guy walks forward, Wong silently mocks the guards. There is a hidden staircase across the hall leading upstairs, but you can only see it up close. He is probably rushing there to sound the alarm. Reaching the end of the corridor, Wong tells Meow to keep watch while he slips forward. Suddenly, the guy bolts in a completely different direction. The three give chase, only to freeze in their tracks. Something nasty is blocking the path. A horde of wanderers suddenly ambushes the guy, tearing him apart as he screams for help. Wong and the girls watch in horror, realizing the beasts are guarding the vault. Wong urges them to fall back for safety. But Meow pauses, knowing that even if she does not fully get why, this gold is incredibly important to him. She claims if this gold helps them crush the four major gangs, they cannot back down. Guan completely agrees, calling this a golden opportunity they simply cannot afford to miss. Feeling a sudden surge of inspiration from their courage, Wong agrees they cannot back down. Drawing their weapons, the trio charges headfirst into the wanderers. After a brutal battle, they clear the area and unlock the vault. Stepping inside, the massive mountain of gold leaves them speechless. Mi guesses there is at least 40 tons, wondering how they will ever carry it. As Wong touches a bar, his system congratulates him for the epic find. The system asks if he wants an upgrade. As Wong silently calculates the weight, the system chiming in reveals there are exactly 46,250 kilograms here. Wong suddenly tells Meow and Guan that they are leaving the gold right here. The girls are shocked, asking why they fought so hard just to abandon it. Wong explains that while the gold must be relocated, they are not the ones who will carry it. He claims a secret organization is operating behind the scenes, though he cannot reveal any details yet. His only job is to locate the treasure and transmit the coordinates so the organization can retrieve it. Guan is amazed, realizing that when Wong vanished earlier, that mysterious group must have whisked him away. Wong nods in confirmation. Meow asks for more details about this group, but he gently refuses, asking for her trust and promising he would never use or hurt them. Meow smiles softly, admitting that spending time together has earned her trust. Honestly, who would not trust a guy who always comes through in a pinch? She promises not to pry any further. Wong tells them he is about to transmit their location, so they need to keep watch outside. They head out, reminding him to hurry since they are still deep in Shark Gang territory. Once they step outside, Wong orders his system to upgrade, immediately triggering the processing sequence and activating the pocket dimension. The system explains that he only needs to think of an item to instantly store it. Absolutely thrilled, Wong orders the system to vacuum up every single gold bar in the vault. Processing in an instant, the system vacuums up the entire hoard. It detects that the 10,000 kilograms of gold required for the upgrade is ready, placing a small box into his hand. Grinning, he realizes this portable pocket space is going to make life incredibly easy. He asks if another upgrade is possible, and the system confirms it will cost 30,000 kilograms of gold. Completing that will finally unlock the lottery feature, letting him spend gold to spin for rewards. Wong thinks the price is ridiculously high, but tells the system to proceed anyway. As the system processes, Wong deeply reflects on his weak combat abilities. He is constantly relying on Guan and Meow. As a man, he cannot just sit back and let girls protect him forever. He needs to get stronger, fast. Right on cue, the update completes, and his eyes light up as a mysterious machine materializes right before him. Intrigued, he asks if this is the lottery. The system confirms, explaining that each draw costs 100 kilograms of gold. It promises legendary rewards, but Wong instantly feels a wave of disappointment. He has already blown 40,000 kilograms just upgrading, and now spins cost this much. Sighing, he reminds himself that power has a price, and luckily, he still has plenty of gold to burn. Recalling his crazy luck in video games growing up, he decides to roll the dice. Grab some popcorn, guys, because he is finally pulling the lever. His eyes widen as the machine displays a legendary martial art as a potential prize. With this, he could crush the Shark and Eagle gangs. Even back home, he would never have to fear Lee again. But reality hits hard. The wheel keeps spinning, landing on a miserable single attribute point. Wong groans in frustration, having wasted an insane amount of gold for absolute trash. Annoyed, Wong orders a 10 pull instead, noticing a few suspicious empty slots on the wheel as it spins. Out of his 10 spins, he lands 2 grenades, a night vision scope, a rocket launcher complete with 3 rockets, some spicy strips, and a shooting specialization skill book. Despite the haul, he is still incredibly disappointed because he did not get the martial arts skill he actually wanted. Shaking off the disappointment, he opens his personal attributes page to check his gains. Staring at his screen, he orders the system to break down his new skill. The system reveals that shooting specialization level 1 boosts his accuracy by 10 points, listing off several other combat benefits. Wong notes that killing wanderers seems to be the only way to level this skill up. Still unsatisfied, he risks another 10 pull. The wheel spins again, yielding 2 packs of spicy strips and a bottle of mineral water. But among the junk, two real prizes emerge. A box of rifle ammo that perfectly pairs with his new marksmanship, and a defensive martial art called Mighty Warrior's Palm. Relief washes over him. He finally has a solid defensive skill to protect himself. Whether he is surviving in this apocalyptic wasteland or back home in his own world, checking his balance, he still has 4,250 kilograms of gold left in storage, saving it for future emergencies. Wong silently calculates that 1 day back home equals 7 days in this world. To ensure Guan and Miao remain safe, he must cripple the shark gang before departing. Meanwhile outside, Miao takes a sip of ice-cold cola and sighs happily, finding it incredibly refreshing. Watching her joy, Guan teases that she looks exactly like she did when she first tried the soda he gave her. Miao smiles, reminiscing how cola was once an everyday drink, but is now a rare luxury. Guan reassures her that as long as they stick with Wong, they will never run out of luxury drinks. Noticing her blush, Guan teases her, pointing out how happy she gets whenever his name comes up. Guan asks if she likes him, sparking a flustered denial from Miao. Suddenly, Wong returns, announcing his work is done and they are ready to go. Miao suggests burning down the base to deal the weakened shark gang a devastating blow, but Wong immediately rejects the idea. He has a better plan, suggesting they should help the rival Eagle gang instead. While the girls look utterly confused, Wong explains this is the smartest way to crush their enemies. Over at the Eagle gang hideout, intense gunfire erupts as defenders shoot at shark gang members outside. Watching the chaos from a safe distance, Chen sits inside a car with the shark gang boss. Chen wonders if sending their own men out to slaughter is a bit too cruel. The boss just laughs, saying those naive recruits exist solely to take the bullet for them. To him, gang loyalty is just a cheap tool for control. They are just frontline bullet fodder. He admits their rival leader Fei is incredibly strong, but lacks the brains to see through this scheme. The boss explains he is intentionally sacrificing this squad to lure Fei into overguarding the main gate. By focusing all his men there, Fei will leave the other 3 entrances completely exposed. He outnumbers Fei by 4-1, and breaking through any side means game over. Meanwhile, a lone sentry patrolling the other side of the building suddenly spots a massive squad scaling the walls. Panicked, he calls for backup. Shaking, he reports that a massive wave of shark gang thugs is swarming the east wing. Fei completely loses his cool. Fei orders his boys to fire. They unleash hell, but just as one attacker climbs onto the roof, a sudden bullet takes him out from behind. The shark gang panics, realizing a deadly sniper is pinning them down. They assume it is the exact same group from last time. One terrified thug quickly runs to warn Xing. Xing is absolutely furious. When Chen asks if they should fall back, Xing kicks him right out of the car, demanding he find the shooters. The furious leader demands they find the shooters at all costs. Meanwhile, Guan ducks low. Realizing they are spotted, she remembers the smart advice Wong gave her and Miao. They must change positions after every shot so the enemy cannot figure out their numbers. Guan quickly slips to a new spot, while Fei desperately orders his men to defend every single wing so the shark gang cannot breach. Right then, some actual good news arrives. The enemy advance is stalled, giving Fei a huge sigh of relief. While the girls keep raining bullets on the terrified thugs, Wong watches from a high rooftop, incredibly amused that the Eagle gang has no clue he set up this perfect little ambush. He knows that with these 2 elite sharpshooters on his side, they will drive the shark gang absolutely crazy. Now, he quietly waits for the right moment. Down below, Xing's men desperately report they are getting picked off. They lost over 20 men already and cannot even spot the shooters, begging their boss for help. An enraged Xing orders them to keep pushing forward regardless. Watching from safety, Fei is pretty confused as to why the enemies are crowding together so close. If they breach, it will turn into a brutal, no-escape melee. Suddenly, Fei spots Xing arriving in a vehicle packed with a heavy machine gun. Seeing the man who caused them heavy losses makes Fei boil with rage. Xing grabs a megaphone, offering Fei a way out. He promises to call off the assault right away if Fei simply agrees to submit and follow his rules from now on. Fei rejects the offer instantly. Furious, Xing promises 10 bags of flour to anyone who drags Fei to him. Hearing the reward, the thugs charge forward with ladders. As Fei tries to fight back, Xing unleashes a heavy hail of machine gun fire. This forces everyone to duck behind concrete while Chen orders his men to charge under cover. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the nearby rooftop. A rocket blast hits Xing's car directly, shocking absolutely everyone on the field. Yep, that is all Wong's doing. Seeing this, Fei and his crew breathe a huge sigh of relief. He immediately starts blasting at the panicked shark gang members as they begin to scatter. Chen drags a bloody Xing away, completely stunned by this unexpected firepower. As they quickly retreat, Wong watches from above, highly pleased that everything is going perfectly to plan. The shark gang won't be a threat to his friends anytime soon, so he can finally head back home in peace. Meanwhile, a survivor reports to Faye that despite heavy losses, they successfully held their ground. Faye tells him to go fetch his ultimate weapon. Meanwhile, Wong stores his rocket launcher back into the system, only to suddenly hear Faye speaking over the megaphone. Over the megaphone, Faye announces that whoever saved them has his eternal gratitude, promising that the Eagle Gang will always have their back in times of trouble. Both factions took a beating, but the Shark Gang definitely got the worst of it. Their roster plunged from over 100 thugs to a mere 30, with most of them severely wounded. With Xing out of commission and the Eagle Gang rebuilding, peace is back on the table. Back at home, Wong is celebrating their sweet victory with Guan, Miao, Changping, and the crew. Changping admits he never thought just the three of them could wreck two entire syndicates, jokes that if his legs were not busted, he would have loved to snipe a few thugs himself. Xian wants in on the action too, but Xiao Bao hilariously teases him for being way too slow. Laughing, Wong assures the eager kids that they will get plenty of chances to fight in the future. Wong points out that while both gangs are currently neutralized, they still need a safer place to live. He suggests relocating to the quiet suburbs. There might be more wanderers lurking around, but fewer people means a much lower risk of getting ambushed in their sleep. He needs to make a quick trip back first, warning everyone to lie low for a couple of days. He promises to return with plenty of food so they can officially move to their new home. Miao curiously asks if he is heading back to his organization. Wong nods, saying he will be gone for 7 days to stock up on premium supplies like fresh meat and vegetables. When Wong asks them for their ultimate grocery wish list, they happily shout out their favorite foods, and he promises to deliver. After a night of celebrating, they pack up and head straight for the suburbs. Sure, wanderers are crawling everywhere, but that is exactly why Wong chose this spot. He needs to farm them to level up. To keep them safe, Wong hands Xian and Xiao Bao guns left behind by the enemy. It might seem pretty wild to give kids weapons, but in this brutal apocalypse, firepower equals survival. Safely inside a building, Wong drops a massive box of 10,000 bullets right in front of them, saying this should keep them covered. He plans to clear the nearby area tomorrow morning for target practice, taking Xian and Xiao Bao along. Miao is absolutely stunned that he somehow has 10,000 rounds just lying around. Guan eagerly volunteers to join the shooting practice, but Miao brags that her aim is already flawless, so she is going to skip it. She suggests they should prepare for potential food shortages by heading into the nearby mountains tomorrow to gather fresh greens. Wong happily agrees, admitting that after surviving on instant noodles for days on end, some fresh wild vegetables sound pretty amazing. Guan immediately offers to tag along with Miao. Deep down, she was secretly hoping to spend some sweet, romantic alone time with Wong before his trip, but this will have to do. The next morning, Wong takes Xian and Xiaobao up to the roof for target practice. While Xian gets super hyped seeing nearby wanderers crawling around, Xiaobao looks pretty nervous. Wong reassures her, explaining they actually want the monsters to group up. He casually takes aim, pops one right in the skull, and tells the kids it is their turn. Training is a breeze out in the quiet suburbs, and they spend the entire day happily blasting away until sunset. Over the next few days, they farm monsters non-stop, burning through nearly 3,000 rounds of ammo until the entire neighborhood is almost completely cleared out. Wong is pretty pleased to see the kids' shooting skills improving so fast, giving them more valuable protectors. Naturally, his own abilities are soaring too, as his system suddenly chimes in to announce that both his shooting and Mighty Warrior's palm skills have successfully leveled up. Back home, the crew is completely stunned to find an absolute masterpiece of a feast waiting on the table. Guan explains that Miao spent her entire day working hard in the kitchen, preparing this massive spread specifically to impress Wong. Wong is pretty confused until Changping explains that the moment Miao heard he was leaving, she was incredibly eager to cook him a special, loving farewell dinner. He reveals that he and Guan went hunting, dug up wild sweet potatoes, and even knocked on neighborhood doors just to find the perfect seasonings for this meal. Wong warmly thanks her for putting so much love into this spectacular dinner. Miao blushes, reminding him to thank Guan too, since she was the one who actually hunted the pheasants. Wong casually throws an arm around Guan, hyping her up and calling her amazing. He grins, telling her they are way past acting all polite with each other. Guan feels a warm little flutter of happiness at his touch. Once they sit down, Xian eagerly asks Miao if it is finally time to eat. Miao smiles, and they all dig in with pure joy. After eating, Wong hands over the rocket launcher and all the other heavy weapons. Guan watches him with worry, asking how he will survive without any of this extra firepower. Wong just flashes a confident grin. A single pistol is more than enough. He lets everyone know he is leaving tonight, leaving the hideout in their capable hands. Miao strongly promises they will protect their home. Guan gets a little shy. She sweetly asks if she can tag along because she is just too worried to let him go alone. Wong gently says no, explaining they need her here to keep everyone safe. He promises to return in 7 days, and she reluctantly agrees. With that settled, Wong heads to his room. Guan and Miao wait outside. Miao asks if he always stays isolated like that, and Guan softly confirms it. Safe inside, Wong triggers his system ability and instantly teleports back to his own peaceful world. Suddenly, he is sitting in a cafe with his buddies, Xing and Hongfi. Wong inhales his food like crazy, prompting Xing to tease him about looking like a starving ghost. Wong laughs it off, admitting he originally wanted a fancy hotel, but he was just too hungry to wait. He quietly reflects on the wasteland. Food is scarce, and you can never let your guard down around hostile wanderers. But here, they can just relax in the sun and eat anything. Still, Hongfi warns Wong to be careful, because he offended Li, who is sending thugs after him. Wong tells them not to sweat it, asking about their plans after graduation. Xing figures he will join some financial firm, while Hongfi wants to start a business but has no real plan yet. Wong casually asks if they are interested in the gold and silver trade. He has a cheap source and suggests they team up to launch their very own jewelry store. Hongfi says if Wong is really down to take the leap, they can use the cash he gave them earlier as their startup investment. Wong waves this off, promising to fund the entire setup himself while they keep the old cash as pocket money. Xing is skeptical, wondering if Wong actually has that kind of wealth. Wong says he is investing $20 million and 4,000 kilograms of gold. When his buddies realize the total is close to 800 million, they completely lose their minds. Wong laughs and tells them to stop calculating, promising to show them the stash at his villa. Once there, they stare at the mountain of gold in absolute, silent shock. Hongfi hilariously grabs Wong by the collar, demanding to know if he robbed a bank. Wong just laughs, assuring them it is clean and telling them to focus on securing a shop location and getting the licenses first. The boys happily agree, and Wong takes it a step further by offering each of them a 10% share in the empire. They try to refuse such a massive gift, but Wong waves it off. He tasks the outgoing Xing with managing the store and leading their sales force. Next, he puts the quieter Hongfi in charge of internal logistics, suggesting he study jewelry design. With both boys on board, Wong reveals his next master plan, launching a massive investment firm once this takes off. He asks Xing if he likes playing the stock market, putting him in charge. Together, he envisions them building an unstoppable business empire. Hyped beyond belief, the two friends pull Wong into a massive group hug. Right then, Wong checks his buzzing phone and grins. His secret delivery is finally here. Outside, a giant truck pulls up. It is packed to the brim with fresh food. His friends stare in disbelief, asking if he is hoarding food to hide from Li. Wong just smiles and says he has a much bigger purpose. Seeing his serious face, they decide to drop the questions. They promise to handle the company business, leaving him to his plans. Wong thanks them, reminding them to meet him for dinner near the campus tonight. Walking down the busy streets, Wong takes in the vibrant atmosphere, contrasting it with the ruined wasteland he usually travels to. This familiar city suddenly feels strangely foreign. Surviving in that harsh, apocalyptic nightmare has clearly left its mark, making him hyper-aware of the staggering differences between these two realities. Oblivious crowds pass by. He realizes how carefree everyone really is. With his insane wealth and absolute power, he is viewing the world from a much higher vantage point now. Without those brutal survival challenges, he would just be another stressed graduate struggling to find a job. Sure, to regular people, he looks like a genius overachiever. But Wong remains humble, knowing his achievements are nothing compared to the pioneers who came before him. Even so, he is deeply grateful for the second chance fate handed him. He vows to rise to absolute greatness in both worlds, leaving an unforgettable legacy. But his quiet stroll is abruptly interrupted when a group of sketchy thugs block his path, demanding to know his name. Goons, Li's goons specifically. Wong calmly nods, asking what their business with him is. The leader introduces himself as Dong from the Black Tiger Gang, but Wong cuts him off, saying he already knows who sent them. Dong smirks, telling Wong to prepare for a beatdown. He adds that Li wants one of Wong's legs broken. Wong casually tells them to take his life if they have the guts, but suggests they find a quieter spot to avoid a public scene. Dong agrees, though Wong's crazy confidence makes him uneasy. They quickly head over to a secluded, empty alleyway. Dong taunts his courage, but Wong warns him not to push his luck. As the thugs rush him, Wong activates his newly upgraded, level 2 warrior palm skill. He slams his palm into a guy's chest, sending him flying. Dong's jaw drops. This kid is a genuine martial artist. The others swing their weapons, and though Wong gets a light cut on his back, he remains focused, shoving them away until Dong finally leaps into the fray. Dong tries to slash him, Wong grabs the blade bare-handed. Seizing the shock, he delivers a brutal kick right between Dong's legs, following up with a hard facepalm that floors him. Dong's men panic, but relief washes over them as a massive wave of reinforcements arrives. They help Dong up, who furiously screams that he only wanted to break one of his legs, but now Wong won't leave this alley alive. Facing dozens of thugs, Wong realizes his warrior palm technique isn't enough to fight off an entire army. Deciding to raise the stakes, as soon as Dong orders another charge, Wong pulls a handgun from his spatial storage and fires a loud warning shot. At the sight of the gun, the entire crowd freezes in terror, murmuring in confusion. Wong calmly tells them that if anyone is eager to die today, they are welcome to step forward. Wong tries to rally his guys, shouting that it is only one gun against all of them. But before he can even finish, Wong fires a clean shot right into his leg. Dong screams out in pure agony, clutching his bleeding knee. Wong calmly asks who wants to go next, offering to put a hole right through them. Terrified, the thugs scramble to hold Dong up, but the second Wong points the barrel back at him. Dong's tough attitude completely evaporates. He stammers that the Black Tiger Gang is totally down to be his ally now. His lackeys quickly chime in, begging Wong to spare their lives with actual tears welling up in their eyes. Talk about a complete turnaround. Wong just stares at them coldly, bringing up their brilliant plan to teach him a lesson. The guys quickly wave their hands, squealing that they have fully learned their lesson, and politely asking if they can please go. Wong gives them a tiny nod, and they instantly grab Dong, dragging him across the dirt as they sprint away. Right after, Wong's phone starts buzzing. It is his buddy Xing, sounding absolutely stressed out. Xing panics, saying classmates saw Wong get dragged off by some shady group, and asks if he is all right. Wong tells him he took care of it, but asks for a ride, since finding a taxi out here is impossible. Later, Wong and Xing meet up at a cafe. Xing gets incredibly pissed about Li sending thugs after Wong. Wong changes the subject, asking why Hongfei is not here. Xing explains the business is registered, but the license takes 2 weeks. Hongfei is busy scouting a storefront, which is why he skipped out. Wong tells him not to rush the search, and suggests they just hire a real estate agent instead. When Xing brings up Li again, Wong promises he will take care of him later. For now, they need to focus on the business. With that, Wong stands up, mentions he has some errands, and heads out. Watching him walk away, Xing resolves that he and Hongfei will not let Li keep pushing Wong around. Meanwhile, Wong gives Hongfei a quick call, asking if he has located their target yet. Hongfei reports that Li is currently at a bar, tearing up the dance floor. But the moment Li heads into the restroom to do his business, Xing and Hongfei ambush him with a heavy blanket and start beating him with wooden sticks. They dump his bruised body right on the toilet seat and bolt, which is honestly a top-tier exit. Back at his luxury villa, Wong is busy packing an absolute mountain of supply crates. He figures this is easily a month's worth of food for the whole crew. He even packed a cooler so they can enjoy ice-cold soda and beer. He cannot wait to see the looks on their faces. Wong commands his system to pack everything into his inventory. The system prepares the teleportation sequence and asks if he is ready, but Wong hesitates, wondering if moving this much fresh food might make it spoil. The system smoothly reassures him that the inventory has an advanced preservation setting, meaning freshness is guaranteed. Wong sighs in relief, thinking his system is seriously the ultimate cheat code. He locks in the transport. Meanwhile, in the post-apocalyptic wasteland, the survivors are waiting. Xian notes that it is now day 7, meaning Wong should be appearing very soon. Chengping points out that as long as Wong is safe, even if he never comes back, they should wish him the best. They have all survived because of his generosity, and honestly, men like him are extinct in this cruel world. Miao nods in agreement. Guan admits she felt the exact same doubt the last time he disappeared. Everyone thought he was lying, but she kept checking his empty room every single night. Just as she was about to lose hope, he suddenly reappeared. So they just need to have a little patience, because she knows he keeps his word. Right as she says it, the door handles rattle and slide open. Everyone gasps as Wong steps right inside. Guan leaps up and throws her arms around him, crying about how much she missed him. Xian admits he feared they had been abandoned, but Wong reassures them that he never breaks a promise. Wong smiles and invites the whole group over to check out the loot. He hands the kids a bunch of fresh, colorful fruit, and their faces instantly light up with pure joy as they dig in. Watching them, Miao realizes his absence left them in total despair, while his return brings instant hope. It is wild how quickly this guy became the absolute heart of their squad. Wong waves Miao over and pulls out an ice-cold can of cola, revealing he brought it specifically for her. Miao and Guan take a sip and practically melt from the fizzy sweetness. Wong promises to keep bringing more. Chengping calls out from the back, hoping Wong managed to snag some cigarettes. Wong nods and hands them over. When the old man pops the box open and inhales the scent, he grins, muttering that it has been years since he smelled anything so heavenly. Wong then reveals the ultimate prize to Guan and Miao, a rich hot pot base. He asks them to prep the stove so they can feast together, and soon, everyone is helping to prep the ingredients. As Wong drops ingredients into the boiling broth, Miao quietly warns him to ration them, but he laughs and tells her there is plenty. Guan brings over a platter of meat and greens, and Wong tells her to dump it all in. The kids watch the bubbling pot with wide, hungry eyes, practically drooling. Guan smiles warmly, noting that as long as they stay by Wong's side, they will never have to worry about going hungry again. Once the food is cooked, Wong gives the signal to eat. They dig in with absolute gratitude, but as Miao takes her first bite, hot tears stream down her face. Wong looks around, realizing almost everyone is crying. He asks if the flavor is off, but Miao quickly shakes her head, crying that it is absolutely delicious. She explains they are just overwhelmed because it has been so incredibly long since they tasted real food. She thinks back to the days before the world ended, when hot pot was just a normal dinner, groceries were everywhere, and life was safe. Back when they could just sit in the sun without fear. Xian quietly whispers that this meal reminds him of his late parents and their old family dinners. Little Xiaobao admits she misses her mom and dad terribly, even though she knows they are never coming back. Chengping softly admits he is thinking of his lost granddaughter. When the world collapsed, he could not save his family, leaving him to survive all these brutal years entirely on his own. As everyone shares their painful past, Guan says the flavor unlocks memories of a happier life, making her feel like crying. Miao agrees, murmuring that every single one of them has suffered so much just to survive to this day. Wong nods, saying the world has already fallen, and the past cannot be changed. Instead of looking back, they need to look forward and focus on living well. When Guan asks about their next move, Wong points out that the ocean lies to the east, making it their best destination. Even if there are no standing houses left, they can secure an island to build a safe haven. He promises that once they find fresh water, he will bring seeds to plant fast-growing crops. They can raise livestock and crops, ensuring starvation is a thing of the past. It is a long journey on foot without any vehicles, but he is confident they can make it if they stick together. Miao agrees it is a solid plan, but warns that the Eastern Highway is crawling with violent scavengers and raiders. Xiaobao and Xian proudly declare they know how to shoot now and will defend the family. They suggest packing tonight to leave tomorrow. Wong quickly stops them, telling everyone not to rush into packing just yet. They need to eat their fill and sleep properly to build up energy. He raises his drink, toast style, telling them to enjoy this peaceful moment. The survivors finally relax, letting the warm food soothe their worries. Wong casually mentions he also brought clean clothes for everyone to try on once they finish eating. After clearing the table, Miao and Guan head to the bedroom where rows of fresh clothes are laid out. Miao stares in complete disbelief, wondering how Wong even found all of this. Guan holds up a cute outfit and smiles, telling Miao it would look absolutely stunning on her. Miao blushes, nods, and starts changing. Meanwhile, Wong is stretching out in the bathroom, sighing in deep relaxation. He mutters to himself that it is finally time to sink into a hot bath and wash the stress away. But as he approaches the tub, he spots a tiny paper note stuck to the tile. It is a sweet note from Guan, thanking him for his endless hard work and letting him know she preheated the water for his bath. Smiling at her adorable gesture, Wong tests the temperature. Finding it absolutely perfect, he slides into the steaming water with a long, happy sigh. Letting his muscles relax, Wong quietly reflects on the bizarre gap between his safe, luxurious home world and this brutal wasteland. Back there, comfort is a given, but here, it means everything. In this apocalyptic wasteland, a simple hot bath is pure heaven. Back home, Wong has more wealth and privilege than he could ever spend in 10 lifetimes. But right now, this is everything. Yet all that luxury feels totally hollow compared to the real purpose he has found here. Wong is determined to build a safe, self-sufficient sanctuary for his people, one that outlasts even the system. While he is lost in thought, the system chimes in with some reassuring news. Its functions are perfectly stable, and his worries are completely baseless. If he really wants to protect his crew, it suggests collecting more gold to unlock those sweet high-tier upgrades. Right then, Guan calls out from the hallway, asking if the Wong yells back that it is perfect. But then, the door swings open. Guan slides in with a mischievous grin and casually announces she is hopping in too. Panicking, Wong watches as she climbs right into the tub. Stuttering, he offers to hop out if she is in a rush, but Guan just smiles and tells him to relax. She just wants some shared tub time. Blushing hard, Wong stammers that two adults bathing together is strictly couple territory. Guan just slides closer, whispering that he should just treat her like his girlfriend. Wong asks straight up if she likes him. She admits she is not totally sure, but she definitely cannot stop thinking about him. Suddenly, her eyes dart down, noticing something in the water. Apologizing awkwardly, Wong gently takes her hand. He explains that while he is glad she feels close, he wants to be sure she is not just confusing gratitude for actual love. Pouting, she asks if he does not like her. Wong confesses that he does, but he refuses to take advantage of her. He wants her to discover her own true feelings first. He climbs out of the tub. He tells her that once she is absolutely sure of her heart, they can take things to the next level. Respect level maximum. Flopping onto the bed feeling totally refreshed, Wong starts overthinking. Guan is sweet, gentle, and incredibly gorgeous, the absolute dream girl for pretty much any guy. So why did he hesitate? Romance? Not yet. He finds himself holding back. His mind drifts to Zhao, who basically just used him as free labor. Compared to that, Guan is a literal angel. Maybe his old wounds make him too scared to open up, or maybe just maybe he is actually falling for her for real. Right as his brain is turning to mush, the bathroom door clicks open. Guan steps out, blushing red, wearing the cat-themed outfit Wong bought her. He is absolutely stunned. Seeing his reaction, she playfully asks if this is his type of thing. He quickly nods and asks where she even found that. She giggles, saying it was in the clothing pile he bought online. And it hits him when he was shopping online for everyone. The algorithm recommended some cosplay outfits. He figured she would look cute, so he added a few to the cart. Suddenly, Guan wraps her arms around him, murmuring that since meeting him, she has never been hungry and has finally felt safe. She softly begs him to accept her, leans in, and seals the deal with a kiss. And just like that, love blooms in the apocalypse. The next morning, the crew heads toward the coast, looking for working cars, but find nothing. With 0 working vehicles, they have to hoof it. This painful hike makes Wong realize he desperately needs more gold to unlock cars and power grids from his system. A few stray zombies pop up. No big deal. With their current arsenal, they easily blow them away. To save ammo and keep things quiet, they stick to blade work. Wong quickly realizes his upgraded warrior palm technique has made his reflexes and speed insanely sharp. Even Meow notices his insane speed, asking if he has been training in secret. Wong proudly confirms it, which prompts Guan to cling to his arm, gushing about how safe she feels. Seeing Guan get so clingy makes Meow highly suspicious. Eventually, night falls, and the group tracks down an empty, upscale neighborhood to make camp. Since this place used to be for the rich, it is the perfect goldmine for Wong to scavenge high-value loot to level up his system. Instead of a luxury villa, he chooses a tall dormitory building to get the ultimate strategic view of the area. After setting up the guard rotation, everyone heads to their rooms for the night. Little do they know, 2 creeps are hiding in the tall grass watching them. One whispers that they have been tracking them for miles, pointing out their massive, food-stuffed backpacks. The other guy hesitates. Those newcomers clearly have serious firepower and will not go down easily. But the first guy scoffs. They only have 2 grown men, and one is limping. The rest are just women and kids. Eager for easy loot, they head off to alert their village chief. Back inside, as Wong sleeps soundly, Guan slips out of bed, wanting him to get some rest. She heads to the balcony where Chungping is on guard. She tells him she is wide awake and offers to take over the watch so he can rest his injured leg. Chungping agrees, warning her to wake the team at the first sign of trouble before limping off to bed. Heavy rain starts to fall. Guan peers through her rifle scope and spots suspicious rustling in the dark weeds. The 2 scouts have returned with their chief and a heavily armed raiding party. Spotting Guan, the chief snarls that there is only 1 guard on duty. He orders his goons to take her out silently. Peering through her scope, Guan tenses up, realization hitting her that Wong was absolutely right. There actually are people creeping around. Guan spots them moving in from both sides to surround the building, but thankfully, Wong and the crew show up heavily armed and ready for action. Wong asks Guan for a status report, and she estimates there are about 20 hostiles. But with the heavy rain pouring down, she cannot tell if they are carrying guns. Wong immediately takes command, telling Guan and Meow to hold the windows with him while Chongping guards the stairs. Chongping nods, totally locked in. Xiaowen and Xiaobao offer to join the shootout, but Chongping shuts that down, telling them to guard Xiaoyan and pack their bags for a quick escape. Meanwhile, Wong peers through his scope to size up the threat. Watching the thugs spread out to trap them, Wong decides to make the first move. He figures dropping a couple of them right now will send a very loud message. The moment a thug steps into the open, Wong fires a clean headshot. The rest instantly panic and run for their lives. Watching them scatter like roaches, Guan grins and says it is beautiful. She lifts her rifle to pick off a few more, but Wong stops her. He warns that loud gunshots will only draw a massive horde of wanderers, ruining their escape plan. Miao agrees, pointing out that as long as the thugs stay away, there is no reason to waste more ammo. Meanwhile, back at their base, the worried village chief is stressing out. He finds it highly suspicious that Wong located them so easily in pitch-black darkness, guessing they have high-tech night vision gear. His goons agree, realizing they stand absolutely zero chance in a night battle, even if they can fight during the day. The chief needs a clever strategy. He orders his men to unleash the 300 wanderers locked up on the west side, aiming to throw the horde at Wong's group to drain all their ammo. Wong and Guan stand together quietly in the gallery. As the rain lets up, Wong softly tells her that dawn is coming and she should get some sleep. But Guan refuses because she wants to stay right next to him. But their romantic moment is cut short when Wong hears rustling outside. Those stubborn thugs just do not learn. Peering down, they spot two scouts creeping closer. But Guan is faster, she aims and drops them both instantly. Thinking they can finally relax, their brief relief vanishes when they spot a massive wave of wanderers crawling closer. Wong points out they are surrounded on all sides, realizing their earlier gunshots must have rung like a dinner bell. Guan wonders why so many showed up this time when previous shots did not draw a crowd. Then she connects the dots. Those annoying thugs nearby must have set them loose. Wong agrees, laughing that this is actually a win. He explains that since these brainless wanderers are not tactical geniuses, they will just blindly charge ahead. So, this massive crowd is just a perfect shooting gallery for him and Xiao Bao to get some target practice. Plus, they have plenty of food, so staying here a few extra days to recover sounds perfect. Guan happily agrees. Later, Miao and the rest join them, completely stunned by the massive crowd of monsters below. Chongping points out that unless they wipe them all out, they are not going anywhere. Xian reminds everyone that Wong explicitly told them not to kill the monsters yet, since he wants to use them for some group target practice tomorrow. Miao reassures the group that since these creatures cannot climb up here, they do not need to worry about being ambushed and should get some solid sleep. She offers to take the night watch so they can rest and wait for Wong to wake up. Meanwhile, the watching villagers are celebrating, gloating that keeping Wong's group trapped makes them incredibly easy targets. Morning arrives, and as soon as Wong and Guan open their eyes, Xian eagerly reminds Wong that it is finally time to start their target practice on the massive horde below. But Wong tells the kid to relax because his stomach is growling. He decides it is high time he treated everyone to his cooking, promising to whip up some delicious fried beef. The kids cheer, but Miao, ever the realist, points out that since they are surrounded, they should finish their wild vegetables first instead of wasting premium meat. Wong just smiles and tells Miao not to worry. Cooking isn't just about eating, it's about sending a message. And trust me, the thugs nearby eating plain vegetable soup are about to get it. Their chief promises they will get real meat soon, forcing them to swallow the watery soup for now. But just as they raise their bowls, a heavenly aroma of cooked beef wafts into the room. Wong laughs, saying his old college cooking gig is finally paying off as he hands out the freshly cooked beef. Miao takes a bite and eagerly praises his chef skills. As they happily feast, Miao asks if he cooked this specifically to torment their neighbors, and Wong laughs, praising her for knowing him so well. Meanwhile, the starving thugs literally smash their bowls in rage. They scream about how unfair it is that Wong's group gets a 5-star beef meal while they choke on disgusting grass water. The chief tries to soothe them, but they yell that they are sick of eating garbage while these newcomers feast. The chief, sighing, reminds them that everyone has their own destiny. He asks them to remember that when this apocalypse started, their village had over 300 people who worked hard to survive on their own. They were doing fine until rival raiders came to steal everything. Monsters invaded, sickness spread, and their numbers dropped from over 300 down to a measly 20. The room goes quiet with grief, and the chief admits he knows they are all starving. But with fresh prey right in front of them, they have to remain patient. Suddenly, gunshots echo through the air, and the chief smiles, assuming the trapped group is panicking and wasting bullets on the horde. He plans to attack the second those guns click empty. Meanwhile, the kids are casually using the monsters below as target practice. Wong calmly tells Xian he only needs one more kill to hit 10, while telling Xiao Bao she has to step up her game. Watching this, Miao asks Chongping if wasting bullets like this is wise. Chongping disagrees, calling it a smart investment for their future survival. When Xian bags another monster to hit 10 kills, Wong rewards his success with a juicy chicken leg. Seeing Xiaowan looking a bit left out, Xian kindly offers to share his prize. As Xiao Bao watches in surprise, Xian smiles and says that family always shares the good stuff. Wong then piles more delicious food in front of the cheering kids as a bonus. When Miao nervously asks if they really have enough supplies to feast like royalty, Wong assures her they are completely set. Miao wonders how Wong's backpack magically refills itself every single day, but decides to respect his secret and not pry. The target practice continues relentlessly, lasting from sunrise all the way into the night. Meanwhile, the thugs are getting extremely confused. Honestly, how long will it take before they realize they've messed with the wrong guy? Their chief tells them to stay calm, believing the noise will just draw a bigger crowd and eventually force their enemies to run out of bullets. Inside, Wong stretches out on a bench and jokingly asks Guan and the kids for a massage, claiming his arms are sore from dropping so many targets. Guan sweetly asks if she can help him relax, but Wong smiles, saying he has got everything under control. He adds that using these monsters as training targets is really doing wonders for his headshot accuracy. Xian is completely amazed, noting that Wong has already eliminated 300 monsters all by himself. Wong silently notes that to upgrade his system, he must personally land the killing blows. Right on cue, another massive wave of monsters approaches, drawn by the noise. For Wong, this is just a goldmine of experience points to level up his system, eventually raising his gun skills far past Officer Meow's. Thanks to his shooting specialization, even a tiny pistol feels like a pocket sniper rifle in his hands. Sure, Wong was stuck here for 7 days without finding any real loot, but at least his skills leveled up. Talk about a solid win. He hands some heavy boxes of food over to Guan, Meow, and the kids. The kids absolutely light up, joking that Wong has a magic bag. They seriously thought they would be back to chewing on wild weeds by now. Meow adds that now she gets why he never worries about saving his stash. She is confident this food will easily last until he gets back. Wong tells them to feast and stay safe for the next 7 days. He promises to return with an even bigger feast next time, and Meow smiles, trusting him completely. Wong then gets serious, pointing out they have probably figured out his food supply is not free. It requires gold and shiny jewelry. He adds that even though shiny metals are useless for survival right now, he has a special way to make them valuable again. He promises to explain everything when the time is right, and the group vows to keep his secret. Wong then says his goodbyes, warning them to keep a close watch, since those shady wanderers are still lurking downstairs. With a flash, he teleports right back to his own world, face planting into the grass. He asks his system if it can tweak his landing coordinates, and the system promises to fix it. Back on his phone, Wong sees a bunch of missed calls from Hongfi, Xing, and his ex, Xiao. He wonders if his ex is trying to crawl back to him, but he brushes it off to focus on Hongfi in the shop. Getting back to his fancy villa, Wong dials Hongfi. When she asks where he has been, he just claims he was busy with bad cell reception. He then asks if the cops have reached out to her, leaving Hongfi totally confused as to why the police would even care. Wong explains that after beating up Dong, he was worried those thugs would run to the cops and drag Hongfei into it, but Hongfei laughs it off, saying gangsters would lose all their street cred if they called the police. She mentions that she and Xing are almost done prepping the shop. Wong was just about to ask about that, but since it is getting late, he suggests they sleep on it and talk tomorrow. Right after hanging up, his persistent ex Xiao calls again. When he picks up, she immediately blurts out that she heard he actually shot a member of the Black Tiger gang. Wong casually admits to it but cold shoulders her, saying his business is none of her concern. Xiao insists she is just offering a friendly warning because he is in deep trouble. She explains that while Li was shocked to hear he has a gun, the Black Tiger gang is not letting this slide. In fact, Li is supposedly hiring professional hitmen to take him out. Spotting Li creeping up behind her, she suddenly hangs up. Wong puts down his phone, feeling pretty suspicious of his ex-girlfriend's sudden kindness. He begins to weigh his options carefully. Sure, his shooting specialization is already level 4, but waving a gun around in public is not exactly practical here. With assassins on the way, his mighty warrior palm technique is not going to be enough on its own. Needing some quick upgrades, he calls up the system and demands to play the lottery right now. He wants to boost his combat skills and pull some legendary loot. Without hesitation, the system conjures up a glowing lottery wheel right in front of his eyes. The system alerts him that he only has 150 kilograms of gold left in his inventory, just enough for one single pull. Wong decides to risk it and do a single draw first. If his luck is trash, he can always grab 1,000 kilograms of gold from his basement for 10 more pulls, then restock it later from the wasteland. The system also drops a hint that it needs 50,000 kilograms of gold to upgrade. Once it levels up, the system shop unlocks, letting him buy gear directly with his shiny loot. Hyped for the shop, Wong pulls the lever. Boom, he hits the jackpot, winning a rare agility skill called Reed Crossing the River. He checks the description and asks how his inner strength is calculated. The system explains that his inner strength scales off his vitality, with each point of vitality giving him 10 points of inner strength. Hyped to test his new speed, Wong heads outside and looks toward downtown a good 5 kilometers away. He grins, wondering just how fast he can make this run with his new martial arts speed. Wong triggers the skill and takes off like a rocket, his body feeling light as a feather. He sprints all the way to town, shocked to realize he crossed those 5 kilometers in just 9 minutes. Catching his breath, he spots a bunch of local thugs harassing an old man and his young daughter setting up a food stall. The goons are aggressively demanding they pay protection money right now. Wong recognizes these clowns as part of the Black Tiger gang. As they argue, their lead senior thug, G, saunters over with a greasy grin, telling the old man that he will cover the protection fee himself. Ji stares at the daughter, claiming she reminds him of his little sister. He reaches out to touch her, but the terrified father steps in, warning the creep to stay away since she is still a minor. Wong steps forward, ready to beat some sense into him, but just as Ji reaches for the girl, an elderly passerby suddenly grabs the thug's hand in an absolute iron grip. The old master sternly calls them out, asking how grown men can have the nerve to bully a helpless senior and harass a kid. Talk about embarrassing. Furious, Ji warns the old master to back off before he cracks his skull open, but the master just calmly smiles and dares him to try. Ji suddenly panics, realizing his hand is locked in place like a steel vice. While the other thugs look on in utter confusion, Wong realizes Ji is not playing around, he is literally paralyzed. The old master chuckles, teasing Ji about why he stopped talking so big about smashing heads. Livid, Ji orders his crew to jump the guy. One thug throws a heavy punch right at the master's face, but to their horror, the old man does not even blink. Completely baffled by the lack of damage, the goon mutters that this must be some kind of dark wizardry. The old master smirks, telling him it is not magic, it is kung fu. With a sudden flick of his wrists, the master unleashes a double palm strike, sending the goons flying backward. The crowd gasps as the remaining thugs pull out knives and charge in together, but the old master easily sidesteps their swings, countering with lightning-fast counterattacks. When Ji lunges with a knife, the master slaps his wrist, sending the blade clattering to the floor. With a quick sweep, he tosses Ji right onto his groaning buddy, joking that taking a nap together seems to suit them perfectly. Just as Ji tries to sneak attack the master with a wooden stool, Wong finally steps into the fray. He unleashes his mighty warrior palm, sending Ji crashing hard onto the pavement. Even the old master looks surprised by the insane force. The crowd erupts in cheers, loving the instant karma. Wong checks on the street vendor, and the old master nods in pure amazement, noting that Wong is incredibly skilled. The vendor and his daughter thank both Wong and the old master for saving them. Wong warns them that since they just embarrassed the local gang, staying here is no longer safe. The pair quickly pack up to leave while the terrified gang members start running for their lives. Ji tries to crawl away too, but Wong steps in his path, asking if he really thought he could just walk away. Trembling, Ji begs Wong not to hit him again. Wong tells him he knows the Black Tiger gang runs this turf, but that does not give them a free pass to bully innocent people. Trembling in fear, Ji quietly asks which syndicate Wong and the old master are with. Wong just laughs, saying they do not belong to any gang, but he proudly drops his own name. Wong asks for the master's name, but the old man just smiles and says Jai isn't worthy of hearing it yet. Wong tells the thug to beat it, and suddenly, a memory sparks in Jai's head. This is the same Wong that Dong wanted to crush. He realizes Wong isn't just strong, he's the guy who put Dog in the hospital with a bullet. Wong's angry shout snaps him back, demanding why he's still standing around. Terrified, Jai runs for his life. The crowd goes wild, cheering for Wong and the old man like absolute local heroes. But the locals warn them that the gang will seek revenge, urging them to run. Wong agrees, but first, the senior invites him for tea. Over a quiet cup, the old man notes Wong has reached the second level of the mighty warrior's palm. Wong instantly knows this senior is a real master. Asked about his age, Wong reveals he's just 21 and still in college. The elder praises his talent, calling it highly impressive. Wong bows his head, humbly thanking him for the massive compliment. Smiling, the master asks for a cheeky favor. Wong promises to help if he can, but the old man's request is wild. He wants to spar his Tai Chi against Wong's mighty warrior's palm. Wong hesitates, surprised. He warns that his raw palm strikes are too dangerous and might hurt him. The master chuckles, assuring him that his Tai Chi is more than ready for a real challenge. He promises they'll pull their punches, keeping it as a friendly martial arts trade. Wong agrees, and both fighters step back, squaring up. The elder tells him to strike first, but Wong nervously asks him to start. The master chuckles, if I attack first, you won't even get a turn. That settles it. Wong lunges forward, using about 30% of his power to swing a heavy palm strike, but the master effortlessly blocks it, instantly countering with a swift tap to Wong's stomach. Wong skids back several meters, utterly stunned by the master's blinding speed. He can't believe how a light, casual tap carried that much sheer force. The master smiles, explaining that conquering hardness with softness is the true beauty of Tai Chi. He warns that if Wong is still holding back, he's heavily underestimating his opponent. Wong nods, promising to go all out now. He charges like a bullet, throwing everything he's got, but the elder stands there, completely unbothered. Sometime later, the master calmly pours more tea. Wong's face is a complete mess of bruises and scratches. The gap in their strength is massive. Wong couldn't land a single hit. Wong bows, deeply thanking the master for the lesson. The elder nods, praising him for developing such incredible inner strength at such a young age. But he points out that Wong's moves are way too stiff, which is why he got tagged. He lacks real combat experience and needs actual, messy fights to unlock his palm's true potential. Seizing the moment, Wong begs to learn Tai Chi and asks to become his disciple. The master raises an eyebrow. Won't learning a new style mess with your unfinished mighty warrior's palm training? Wong promises there is no need to worry, as he will never neglect his daily palm practice. He explains that while his palm style is devastating, it relies purely on brute force and fails against stronger foes. But Tai Chi is the perfect balance, combining offense with defense to turn an opponent's own weight against them. The master nods, highly impressed by his sharp insight. He explains that, while the mighty warrior's palm is a top-tier physical style, it's ultimately a Buddhist martial art meant to embody compassion and deep mercy. Best of all, Wong hasn't let his godlike skills get to his head. Instead, he actually worries about hurting people. Moved by this, the master officially accepts him as his disciple, making Wong absolutely thrilled. The master quietly laughs to himself, what a jackpot of a student to find on a simple morning walk. He introduces himself as Jungu, explaining his family's secret Tai Chi is never shown to outsiders. Wong is incredibly honored to be treated like family. He vows to train his heart out and never let the master down. Jungu warns him that his progress depends entirely on his own talent, but if Wong ever uses these sacred skills for evil, the master will personally put him down. Startled by the sudden intensity, Wong quickly promises he will never disgrace the sect. Sometime later, he's out on the streets, hanging out with his best friends, Hongfei and Xing. Xing asks if they're actually buying luxury rides today. Wong laughs, it's all about business efficiency, and as major shareholders, they need to look the part. Curious, Xing asks what Wong is getting for himself, and Wong casually says he's buying a van. The guys are totally baffled, but Wong knows a van is perfect for taking Guan and the crew around. They arrive at the showroom, and the boys' eyes go wide looking at the shiny rides. But the vibe ruins instantly when Wong spots a female manager screaming at a salesman. She shrieks, demanding to know why he didn't alert her when high-paying clients walked in. The poor guy mumbles that she was napping in her office, which only makes her explode. Wong cringes at the absolute train wreck of management. Stepping in, he calls the lady over and politely tells her they're here to buy some vehicles and asks for a tour. Meanwhile, his buddies start snapping photos of the displays. The manager instantly snaps, telling them to step away from the expensive metal. Then, she scans Wong's basic clothes with pure disgust. She sneers, telling him he looks like a broke college kid and they don't sell bicycles here. Wong just smiles, asking if she thinks they can't pay. Leaving them with a low-ranking salesman, she coldly warns the guy that if he doesn't hit his monthly target, he's fired. Once she struts off, the salesman, Xiao, tells Wong not to take it personally. Wong asks about her threat to fire him, wondering how much more he needs to sell. Xiao sighs, admitting he's still miles away from hitting his quota. Patting his shoulder, Wong promises that if he gives them a great tour, he'll hit his entire quota today. Grateful, Xiao starts showing them around. First up is a ride worth 630,000. The boys love it, but Hongfei hesitates, saying they don't need flashy, overpriced status symbols. Wong just grins and asks to see the next level. He tells Xiao this model is way too cheap, asking for their top-shelf inventory. His buddies stare in shock, but Wong throws his arms around them, saying he will never forget who stood by him. Promising to make them all stinking rich, Wong gets everyone in their feelings. But Xiao is privately sweating bullets, wondering if these guys actually have the cash. Xiao leads them to a Mercedes worth 970,000. Wong just yawns, got anything over $1 million? Pointing to their absolute crown jewel, Xiao shows them a top-tier Mercedes. Hongfei's jaw drops, and he climbs inside just to feel the leather. When Wong asks for the price, Xiao reveals it's a staggering 2.3 million. Xing stands frozen, while Hongfei panics, claiming he'd never have sat down if he knew the cost. Right then, the manager storms back over, demanding to know what they think they're doing. She sneers, asking if they even have a penny to their name. She barks at Hongfei to get out immediately, but Wong steps in, telling his buddy to stay put. Wong will handle this snob. She turns to Xiao, screeching about why he let these bums near their luxury inventory. Hearing her toxic tone, Xing snaps, telling her to show some respect. The saleswoman snaps that broke college students shouldn't be here trying to test drive sports cars. She demands they get out right now, even threatening to have security drag them away. Xing wants to report her terrible attitude immediately, but Wong tells him to relax. Just let her call security, because he will handle everything anyway. Right on cue, the guards arrive, and she instantly demands they throw the guys out. Xiao tries to explain they're paying customers, but she won't hear it. The guards step up, telling the trio to walk out or get dragged out. Wong just smiles and asks what happens if they refuse. A guard reaches out to grab him, but in a flash, Wong drops both of them with 2 heavy palm strikes. Xing and Hongfei are absolutely stunned by his insane new skills. The saleswoman screams in panic, demanding he pay their medical bills immediately or she's calling the cops. Without missing a beat, Wong tosses a solid gold bar right at her feet to cover the medical costs. He points out that she started this entire mess by harassing paying customers. If she really wants to call the cops, she can go right ahead, because Hongfei has already recorded the whole interaction. The fallen guard notices the gold bar is totally legit. The rude saleswoman freezes, realizing these basic-looking kids might actually be loaded. Wong steps closer, ready to teach her a lesson. He lectures her about customer service, but she tries to save face by welcoming them back. Xiao, however, decides he has had enough of her garbage. She instantly threatens to get him fired through corporate, but Xiao just smiles and tells her not to bother because he quits. He explains that he always believed in treating customers with real honesty and respect. If succeeding means acting like her, he would rather find another job. But Wong stops him, saying he still needs his help. Xiao reminds him he does not work here anymore, but Wong says every job has bad apples. He tells Xiao that he wants to buy 3 of their highest-end sports cars in different colors right now. This shocks everyone. The saleswoman stammers that each of those cars costs over 2 million. Wong calmly hands Xiao his phone, telling him to put in the store's account number for an instant transfer. Hongfei steps in, warning her that they will be reporting her nasty attitude to corporate, so she might be the one losing her job. Wong finishes the transfer, and the guard confirms that over 7 million has just landed in their account. The girl checks the sender name, gasping as Wong tells Xiao to start the paperwork. As they walk off, she desperately chases them down, congratulating Wong on becoming their newest VIP customer. She mutters a quiet apology, but Wong tells her it is way too late. His friends suggest reporting her to upper management anyway, making her beg for mercy. She promises to do absolutely anything to keep her job. Wong demands that she give the entire manager's commission from this sale to Xiao. Xiao is deeply touched. Wong warns her that he is watching, so she better not try any shady tricks. She quickly agrees, and the 3 friends head out, happily cruising down the highway in their brand new sports cars. Calling each other from their respective rides, the guys praise Wong's massive upgrade. Hongfei notes that ever since Wong broke up with Xiao, he has been a totally different beast. Suddenly, they spot 2 supercars ahead. Xing mentions he has to meet a goldsmith soon, so they need to pass those guys. Wong and Hongfei agree, flooring the gas. The drivers ahead notice the 3 identical cars closing in and decide to accelerate to block them. Hongfei laughs, saying it looks like they want to race. The boys get hyped up to play, but Wong asks when they actually last drove. They admit they have only borrowed their dad's cars a few times. Wong tells his friends to play it safe since they are still rookies, and both of them quickly agree. Ahead, one driver asks why the 3 cars suddenly slowed down. His buddy points out they do not have license plates yet, guessing they are probably just out on a simple test drive. The driver scoffs that dealerships do not let test drivers go this fast. His friend realizes they must have bought them. Curious, the driver slows down to see who actually bought 3 high-end sports cars at once. Xing calls out to Wong, noting that the other drivers are slowing down to meet them. When they pull up side by side, the stranger points ahead, suggesting they stop at the gas station. He asks if they want to hang out, and Wong agrees. Pulling into the station, the crowd is totally awestruck by this sudden convoy of supercars. The boys walk over, and Wong asks what they need. The driver introduces himself as Liu Xinghua, alongside his friend Zhang Wenjiang, saying they just wanted to make some new friends. Wong introduces his crew, and Liu admits he is just super curious. Seeing 3 identical cars, he asks if they are starting some kind of local racing team. He notes that most rich kids prefer Ferraris or Porsches, but these guys apparently have a special love for Mercedes-Benz. Wong laughs, explaining they bought 3 identical ones just to make a statement. Since Zhang has never driven this model before, Wong casually tosses him the keys, telling him to take it for a spin. Zhang is totally stunned, while Liu jokes that you are never supposed to lend out your car or your girl, but Wong is on another level of generous. Zhang teases that Liu's Ferrari is worth over 5 million, so if he scratches Wong's car, Liu can just buy him a new one. Liu then hands his own keys to Wong, taking Zhang's Porsche instead, and the group swaps cars for a fun joyride. Wong quickly realizes that Liu and Zhang are not just random rich kids. They come from incredibly powerful families, yet they do not have a single drop of that usual wealthy arrogance. Instead, they are genuinely friendly and down-to-earth, making their group lunch filled with non-stop laughter and good vibes. Hearing that Wong's crew are college students launching a jewelry business, the duo is highly impressed. Liu expresses serious interest in their business, and they all happily swap numbers. Liu tells Wong to reach out if they ever need help. But soon, it is time for Wong to return to the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Wong packs a massive van full of food for everyone, wondering how Guan and the others have managed during his 7 days away, especially with deadly wanderers everywhere. Wong commands his system to open the portal. It activates instantly, teleporting him right back to the apocalyptic world, landing him smack in the middle of a bathtub. Wong demands to know why he landed in a bathroom. The system basically tells him his own subconscious chose this talk about getting completely exposed. Stepping out, he is shocked to find Meow changing clothes in the room. He asks what she is doing there, but she just slaps him, yelling that this is her bedroom, not his. Wong backs out and finds Guan and Xian waiting. Guan happily hugs him, but he immediately wrinkles his nose, asking what that horrific stench is. Xian tells him to see for himself. Outside, Wong is horrified by dozens of rotting wanderer corpses. The kids cheerfully brag that all these targets really helped improve their target practice. Chungping explains that those cowardly village thugs never attack head-on. Instead, they just keep luring endless groups of wanderers straight to their doorstep. Wong realizes the thugs are trying to drain their ammo. Meow joins the group, grumbling that the place stinks so badly they would have abandoned it already if they were not waiting for him. Guan asks Wong if they can finally get ready to head out, and Wong agrees to set off first thing tomorrow. Meanwhile, those annoying thugs are still hiding out in a nearby building. It has been 7 whole days, but Wong's group is still packed like a walking armory with endless bullets. Still, the thug leader tells his men that the wanderers are finally gone. His crew is getting impatient, but they need to chill. The boss orders them to keep wearing down their targets even with ammo left. The stench of nearby corpses will choke them out. The thugs cheer and praise their boss's brilliant mind. Back in the cozy bedroom, Wong is relaxing when Guan, looking absolutely stunning, slides right next to him and the romance begins. Meanwhile, in the next room, Meow is blushing hard from all the spicy noises next door. By morning, a lookout thug notices some suspicious movement near the building Wong's group occupied. Completely shocked, he quickly calls the boss over to take a look. The leader watches in disbelief as Wong and his crew roll out in a van. Where on earth did they get fuel? A thug asks if they should give chase, but the boss hard declines. They really do not want to mess with those beasts. Instead, he tells them to scavenge the building for leftovers. Meanwhile, on the street, a young zombie boy and girl are having a little moment, but as the boy steps out, splat, Wong's van runs him right over before speeding off. Inside the ride, Meow is at the wheel, nervously telling Wong it has been forever since she drove. Wong just laughs, saying if she wrecks this van, he will simply fetch another. Poor Chungping starts throwing up. When Guan checks on him, he groans that it has been years since he last rode in a car. Meanwhile, Shannon warns Wong that those thugs were actively trying to drain their precious ammo using the wanderers. Xian is still incredibly salty about leaving free bags of rice behind for those scumbags, muttering that they should have taught them a lesson with lead instead of charity. Wong just chuckles to calm him down, noting that if those idiots had not brought over all those target practice zombies, they would not have leveled up their shooting skills. Xiao Bao giggles, realizing Wong always plays his own game of payback. Meanwhile, the thugs break into the abandoned hideout and are completely dumbfounded to find 2 big bags of rice. They wonder if Wong's group actually forgot them. But the boss inspects the grains, knowing how insanely valuable food is, and laughs off the idea that this was just an accident. A paranoid thug worries it might be poisoned, but the boss shakes his head. If Wong wanted them dead, he would have just shot them days ago. Reassured, the greedy thugs grab the bags and prepare for a feast. Back in the van, Xian is still pouting, thinking they were way too nice to those thugs. Wong leans over and whispers with a grin that he actually spiced things up with a little secret ingredient. Xian's face immediately lights up with pure joy. Wong chuckles, calling it a nice little tax for all those zombies the thugs sent their way. Later that afternoon, Guan and Meow curl up in the back row for a cozy nap. Up front, Wong and the guys keep guessing what this new survivor camp will look like until they finally arrive. Chungping points out the window, telling Wong to check it out. Sure enough, Wong spots the outskirts of a small city with actual signs of human life. By nightfall, they set up camp by the road. Inside the tent, Meow asks Guan about the little ones, who are already fast asleep. Guan wonders where Wong went, and Meow notes he stepped outside to scout around and make sure they are safe. She figures he is probably torn about whether to enter the city. Not far away, Wong stands under the night sky, staring at the distant lights while debating his next move. This place could be a peaceful sanctuary or a total death trap, so they need to tread lightly. Back inside, Xiaolan suggests that if they are going in, they should do it fast. But Chungping urges caution. With such a big group, rushing blindly into a city of unknowns makes it nearly impossible to protect everyone if things go sideways. Guan figures Wong is mainly eyeing the city to hunt for gold. Meow agrees, reminding them that all those fancy supplies of his do not just fall from the sky. Since Wong literally swaps gold for food, getting their hands on some is a top priority. Meow wants to help him out, but she cannot ignore the safety of the group. Xian tells her to make it simple. They are going in with Wong to find that gold. They have plenty of weapons and zero fear. Changping agrees, saying they can easily handle themselves. The whole squad is down to back Wong up, so Miao decides to head out and talk to him. Meanwhile, Wong is desperately wishing to upgrade his system, but he is completely unsure if any gold even exists here. It is just too risky. If they run into another syndicate like the Shark Gang, things will get incredibly ugly. System upgrades are great, but the safety of Guan and the crew comes first. Just as he decides to bypass the city entirely, Miao and Guan walk up, and he tells them his plan to take a safer detour. Miao chuckles, asking if that is really what he came up with after worrying all night. She tells him that the whole gang already voted to go inside because they want to help him hoard gold. Wong hesitates, reminding them that wandering into a strange city brings nothing but unpredictable, deadly risks. Guan knows it is dangerous, but reveals Miao already has a brilliant strategy. Smiling, she explains they will secure a safe hideout for Changping and the kids first. Then, the three of them will head in together to scout. Miao teases him playfully, asking if his overprotective mind is finally at ease. Yet, Wong still cannot help but worry. He points out that Changping is still limping with an injured leg, and the kids are too young to hold the fort. But Miao reassures him, noting their recent target practice really sharpened their survival skills. She confidently argues that unless a massive horde attacks, the kids can hold their own. After all, look at how they teamed up to crush the 4 rival syndicates before. Ever since then, they have been ready to fight by his side. This isn't some cheap alliance anymore. They are a real family bound by blood, survival, and shared hardships. Miao reassures him that they will always have his back. Truly touched by their loyalty, Wong finally nods in agreement. Soon after, the three of them head back to their cozy campsite. The moment Xian spots Wong, his face brightens instantly. Wong grins, announcing to the whole group that he is in a fantastic mood and has a special surprise for them tonight. To their surprise, he whips out an acoustic guitar and starts strumming the classic chords of Hotel California. As his singing fills the quiet night, the group listens in complete awe. Guan stares at Wong with absolute love in her eyes. The vibes are completely immaculate, turning this dangerous wasteland into a magical night. At sunrise, Wong tells the squad that he, Guan, and Miao are moving out. The kids proudly promise to protect the camp, and Miao smiles, promising they will be back before they know it. Before stepping away, Wong slides Changping a fresh pack of smokes, jokingly telling him to make them last. Changping admits he is still hoarding the last batch, but Wong tells him to puff away. He has tons of stock left, so Changping should just enjoy them. As the trio starts trekking toward the city, Wong notices Miao is surprisingly silent and asks her what is wrong. She admits she loves Wong's generous heart, but thinks he should limit the smoke since Changping's lungs are not doing great. Wong nods, completely seeing her point. He says in a normal world, he would tell him to quit, but in this brutal apocalypse, a warm smoke is one of the very few comforts the man has left. Miao agrees with him, but their chat is cut short when Guan suddenly catches the sound of a rumbling engine. Ducking into a nearby hiding spot, they watch a jeep slowly crawl by, carrying 3 heavily armed thugs. Once the vehicle rolls past, Wong points out that these guys have both wheels and firepower, meaning their target city is definitely a human settlement. Guan immediately suggests taking these patrolmen out before they can cause any trouble. Miao wants to squeeze them for info about the city, but Wong prefers a softer approach, suggesting they trade food instead. Miao is skeptical. What if those goons just blow them away and take everything anyway? Wong reassures her they have a backup plan, but he needs perfect teamwork from both girls. Right then, the patrol jeep screeches to a halt. The thugs have just spotted a guy and a girl crawling in the grass nearby. It is Wong and Miao, acting as bait. The thugs bark orders for them to freeze or get shot. This is exactly what Wong wanted. He and Miao walk out unarmed to talk, while Guan quietly sets up her sniper rifle up high. If things go south, Guan will end them. Wong calmly tells the thugs they are just weary travelers looking for a safe place to crash. One thug sneers, saying plenty of wanderers try to squeeze into their safe zone because it is so well guarded. Keeping it secure takes real work, he warns, so if they want passage, they will have to cough up some food. Wong quickly agrees to hand over the supplies, but right then, Miao notices one of the sleazy guards staring and creeping toward her. Stepping closer to Miao, the guard suddenly pinches his nose, asking if they fell into a sewer because the stench is unbearable. Still, they snatch the bags and rip them open, shocked to find them packed with fresh bread. Satisfied with the bread, the thugs tell them to get lost and drive off. Miao realizes Wong's plan actually worked, even if it was a bit gross, keeping them completely out of a deadly firefight. Back when they were prepping and hiding, Miao had urged Wong to move since Guan was in position. Talk about a romantic gesture. Wong stopped her right there, pointing out that in this brutal wasteland, desperate men always target pretty girls. He handed her a sealed jar, claiming that with this secret weapon, not even ghosts would dare approach. It was stinky tofu, smells like garbage, but tastes like heaven. One sniff makes Meow gag and throw up on the spot. After that smelly ordeal, they finally arrive at the main base. A crackling speaker demands their business, and Wong replies they are seeking entry. Two armed guards step out of the massive gates, telling them to put their hands up. Wong quickly claims they are fresh out of food, but a curvy, bossy woman steps forward, saying her men are not here to rob them. They are just here to keep her safe. She demands to see some identification, but Wong explains they lost their IDs ages ago. The woman hands over a form to register their details. Suddenly, she winces at the awful odor. Wong sheepishly admits they have been traveling for days without a bath, so they probably smell like absolute trash. She explains that outsiders are welcome, but only if they obey the local laws. If they want a roof over their heads, they will have to work for their leader, Jin. When Wong asks what kind of jobs are open, she replies there is plenty of work, all paid in local cash. She holds up a printed note, introducing the Jin dollar. Citizens earn these notes by working, using them to buy food, shelter, and basic supplies. However, everything in this town must be paid for in cash or goods. Examining the note, Wong realizes this Jin guy must be a pretty sharp manager to set up a functioning economy like this. His interest piqued. Wong thanks her and agrees to sign up. She gives them a final, chilling warning: stealing or robbing anyone is strictly outlawed, and anyone who breaks that rule gets the death penalty. Both Wong and Meow promise to stay on their best behavior. Stepping inside the town gates, Wong looks around, surprised by how peaceful everything feels. The high defensive walls make this place look like the perfect sanctuary they have been searching for. Meow nods, but quickly stops him when he mentions bringing Guan and their other friends inside. She whispers that something is seriously wrong, telling him to look closer at the locals. Wong focuses and realizes the residents look completely lifeless, skin and bone, walking around like literal skeletons. They spot a heavily guarded greenhouse nearby. Meow murmurs that even though food is actively being grown here, Jin likely hoards and controls every single crop with an iron fist. As they observe, a man approaches and asks if they are new in town, introducing himself as the local job broker. Wong and Meow walk over, with Wong asking if it is going to be tough to find a decent job. The recruiter assures them that with over 300 residents in this small settlement, he is the one who handles almost all the labor assignments. He hands over a ledger of active listings, explaining that they are paid daily. Wong scans the list while the broker mentions that he updates these gigs every single morning. If they do not like any, they do not have to work, but since food and rent cost Jin dollars, being idle means starving. Wong gets to the point, asking how much the absolute cheapest room costs. He replies that rent is charged daily, costing 5 Jin dollars for 12 hours. Hearing this, they are shocked to see some jobs only pay a tiny 6 Jin dollars. The broker explains that nicer housing requires high-paying labor. Oh, and by the way, he also charges a 2 Jin dollar finder fee for every successful placement. Wong groans, pointing out that with these crazy rates, they might end up sleeping on the concrete. The broker warns him that while daytime is quiet, nights here are a different beast entirely. Wong recalls the big lady at the gate, saying theft was strictly banned. The broker just laughs, explaining that rule only exists to protect Jin's personal stash from getting stolen. He points out that, outside of the armed guards, everyone here is starving. The labor is brutal, and most folks soon realize their tiny wages cannot even cover basic meals, leaving them permanently hungry. Desperate people do desperate things. The broker shares a grim story about a newbie who spent all his money on bread, had nothing left for rent, and tried sleeping in an alley. That night, someone chopped his legs clean off. Wong and Meow stare in total shock, but the broker insists it is the absolute truth. Wong decides that if he wants real money, he needs to become a bodyguard, since it pays the most. Meow wants to sign up too, but the broker laughs, doubting their skinny frames can handle it. Instead, he suggests a stunning girl like Meow should work as a dancer. Catching the leader's eye would immediately upgrade her standard of living. He explains that Jin absolutely loves surrounding himself with pretty girls, frequently hosting wild swimsuit parties for them at his luxury villa. Meow blushes in embarrassment, while a protective Wong instantly shuts the idea down. They are both strictly applying for the guard roles. The broker shrugged, telling them to return tomorrow, leaving Wong absolutely steaming as they walked away. Meow jokes about approaching Jin alone. Wong instantly snaps. He has not even seen her in a swimsuit yet, so no way are other guys getting a show. Talk about being protective. Meow laughs, giving him a playful smack. Just then, a flashy luxury car rolls up, surrounded by heavy security. The starving crowd begins screaming that their leader has arrived, meaning it is finally dinner time. The mob surges forward, but guards raise their weapons, forcing them back. The car sunroof slides open, and Jin emerges, triumphantly raising a golden scepter embedded with two massive sparkling gems. Stunned by the sheer value of the stones, Wong notices Miao staring. He whispers that he will eventually steal those sparkly gems for her and Guan. Jin, a rather short man, stands proud in his sunroof, declaring it is mealtime. He calls out, demanding to know if they have all been working hard to earn his precious dollars. He loudly reminds them that only hardworking citizens earn respect and full bellies. Desperate to eat, the crowd raises their hard-earned cash, begging for their daily rations. Wong stares at Jin. He wonders how any woman could ever dream up a tall, handsome savior here. The reality is just a greasy, rat-faced sleazebag. Wong whispers to Miao that these folks are wilder than wanderers, slaving away for scraps. Miao reveals Jin used to be a massive real estate tycoon back in the day, and she actually locked him up once. He had major pull, but always played dirty, she adds. Suddenly, Jin barks an order for everyone to queue up and hand over their Jin dollars for food. They all obey without a word. A mother clutching a tiny baby steps up, handing over cash to one of the workers and quietly asking for 2 bowls of soup. The guy scoffingly tells her she only has enough for 1. Stunned, she protests that it was 2 Jin dollars a bowl yesterday. The worker snaps back that Jin's men risked their lives hauling this food in, so prices just went up. She silently takes the single bowl, her head hanging low. Watching this makes Wong's stomach twist with pity. Honestly, how does anyone survive in a place like this? This world is just brutal. Clutching the food, she makes one last desperate plea for a little extra. The worker just glares, telling her to take it or leave it. He retreats to a corner, feeding her baby the thin broth. Sensing a shadow, she gasps, begging Wong not to steal her meal. Wong quickly raises his hands, gently assuring her he is not there for that. He reaches out, offering a loaf of bread. Panicked, she tosses her bowl, screaming she does not want bread as she bolts into the darkness. Wong tries to follow, but Miao steps in. She explains he already spooked her, so she will not take anything now. Confused, Wong asks why a starving mother would reject free food. Miao warns him this town is off, and they need to watch their backs. A few desperate men step up to Jin. His bodyguard mentions they want in on the next expedition, while another worker says they can set them up to leave tomorrow, waiting for Jin's final nod. Jin warns them to think twice, running these missions is a death sentence. The men only have one question: do they get real bread if they sign up today? Jin nods, ordering his men to hand it over. The guard tosses the bread onto the dirt, and they scramble for it like wild animals. Jin quietly whispers to his assistant to watch them closely and shoot if they try to run. A man named Dao pushes through. Jin barks, asking what he wants. Dao drops to his knees, begging the tycoon to send a doctor to save his sick sister. Jin asks what is wrong with her. Dao explains she has been burning with a massive fever for days. Feeling helpless and desperate, he swallowed his pride to beg Jin for medical aid. Jin shrugs it off as a simple fix, telling Dao to bring the girl over for treatment. But when Dao desperately points out she is only 15 and still a child, Jin just grins. He is a businessman, and everything has a price. Jin lays out the deal. If Dao will not trade his sister, he can sell his own life instead. Rejoin the expedition team, and his private doctor will save her. With no other choice, Dao agrees to the suicide mission. Pleased with himself, Jin walks away, leaving Dao broken on the cold ground. Nearby, the crowd whispers about how Dao joined the expedition once before for the exact same reason. They murmur about how those runs are basically a guaranteed death sentence. They whisper that Dao was the sole survivor of the last trip to the northern district, where the deadliest monsters roam. Dao finally drags himself home, placing a cool, damp cloth on his sister's forehead to fight the heat. He sits by her side, quietly promising her that a doctor is coming tomorrow. He blames himself, crying that his lack of food forced her to eat garbage. Weakly, his sister Xiaolu clutches his arm, begging him not to venture outside the city walls again because it is far too dangerous. Dao lies, telling her he is just working local security for Jin and will stay safe inside. Suddenly, a heavy, violent pounding rattles the room, and the door bursts completely open under the force. Standing in the frame are Wong and Miao. Wong quickly apologizes for the broken door, while Dao jumps up, demanding to know who they are and what they want. Wong raises his hands, explaining they heard he needs medicine. They are just travelers passing through and happen to have some medical supplies on them. Miao spots the little girl shivering on the bed, realizing this must be Dao's feverish sister. When she tries to step closer, Dao instantly blocks her path, sternly warning her to stay back. Miao does not flinch. She points at the girl and asks if he actually wants to save her, or just watch her die. Dao hesitates, asking if they are truly trying to help. Wong steps in, explaining that while they will need his help later, saving the girl comes first. Reluctantly, Dao relents. Miao checks her temperature, muttering that it is easily over 40 degrees. She asks Dao if he has tried cooling her down. Quickly, Miao tells Wong to grab the fever medicine and asks Dao to get some water ready. Both move without a second thought. 5 minutes later, Miao administers the medicine to the little girl and breathes a sigh of relief as the burning heat finally begins to recede. When Dao and Wong check back, they see her breathing has calmed. Overwhelmed, Dao falls to his knees, crying and thanking them for saving his sister's life. He explains that Xiaolu is all the family he has left, swearing his life belongs to them now. Wong and Miao pull him up, saying they need to talk about something serious. Dao hesitates, admitting he does not care what they want from him, he will do it even if it costs his life. Wong quickly reassures him, saying they only want some basic local information. Relieved, Dao chuckles, admitting he half expected them to ask for something crazy, like executing a hit or kidnapping someone. Wong introduces himself and Miao with a small nod, and Dao does the same for his sister. Before heading out, Wong leaves a bottle of cola, which Dao sets gently beside Xiaolu. He smiles softly, muttering that she is going to be so happy when she wakes up, since it is her favorite treat. Watching him, Wong realizes that while Dao might seem incredibly simple, his deep love for his sister proves he is a genuinely good man. Miao breaks the quiet, asking if he was a soldier before the world collapsed, noting his disciplined, sharp posture. Dao nods, explaining he had to retire after a bad injury. Wong glances at the jagged scar slicing down Dao's face, asking if he got it during his military service. Dao shakes his head, explaining he got it fighting vicious wanderers in the northern district while serving on the expedition team. He adds that the north holds over 1 million monsters, making a total sweep impossible. He then shifts to Jin, noting the tyrant has massive stockpiles of food to feed his loyal dogs. He reveals that survival is just a cover. Jin's real motive is pure greed. He keeps sending teams deep into the northern city just to bring back gold. Before the world fell, Jin was a ruthless real estate titan known for squeezing every cent out of people. He used heavy extortion and forced sales to hoard hundreds of properties, building a massive empire of greed. He was a notoriously cold-hearted crook, long before the apocalypse turned the world upside down. On top of the scams, rumors say he is absolutely obsessed with gold. His entire mansion is filled with gold furniture, and even his toilet is solid gold. Hearing this, Wong asks Miao what finally landed Jin in handcuffs. Miao just shakes her head, sighing that Jin's crimes are too long to list in a single night. Miao adds that when she arrested him, the guy actually had the nerve to threaten her. In prison, Jin even bragged that his money and power would buy his freedom, and then he would make her pay in some highly inappropriate ways. That gets Wong furious enough to go throw hands, but Miao holds him back. She explains that even from a prison cell, Jin was still pulling the strings of his crew. Once the apocalypse hit, he broke out, gathered his thugs, and went right back to his criminal empire. Dao warns them that Jin has literal tanks, making a frontal assault completely suicidal. Wong wonders why Dao has not just joined Jin's squad to secure his own sister's safety. Shaking his head, Dao asks if Wong knows what the starving citizens actually eat. Wong guesses it is probably some kind of questionable meat soup, maybe made of rats. He laughs, saying rat meat would actually be a luxury. The reality is far worse. To buy food, you need Jin dollars, but since nobody has jobs, they all starve. Jin exploits this by offering a twisted deal. Go on one dangerous expedition mission, and you get some stale, expired bread from his warehouse. Unskilled citizens stand zero chance against wanderers. At first, Dao could not wrap his head around why Jin would even want these untrained people on the team. But when Dao had to join last month to survive, the horrific truth came out. These poor souls are brought along for one reason, only to act as literal live bait for monarch wanderers. These monarch wanderers are bloodthirsty beasts, way more lethal than your average mutant. A crowd of helpless bait naturally attracts the monsters. While the poor bait gets torn apart, the rest of the crew casually searches for gold. Talk about pure evil. Seeing their shocked faces, Dao explains that these monarchs are massive, multiple times larger than normal wanderers, packed with insane speed and power. Even as a former Special Forces soldier with elite combat and survival instincts, Dao felt completely powerless when he realized he was being used as bait. He still remembers the terrifying experience. He thought he escaped one, but the beast caught up in a flash. And unlike regular monsters, these monarchs do not just eat you, they actually enjoy torturing humans. Dao says his facial scar came from a monarch that scratched him up and then just casually wandered off. Now, Jin thinks Dao actually scared the beast away, which is why he wants him back on the team. Wong asks his system for info, but there is zero data available. The system suggests an upgrade is needed. Miao then asks what Jin feeds the town, and Dao grimly reveals that those killed by the monsters do not go to waste. They are hauled back, mixed with mutant meat, and served as soup to the clueless citizens. Wong and Miao are completely disgusted by this. Dao hoped joining Jin would mean he would not have to eat human meat anymore, but he could not accept it. He definitely will not let his sister eat that garbage. Instead, He has been catching mice and gathering wild weeds outside, which is why his poor little sister got so sick in the first place. Wong tells him not to beat himself up. Survival is never easy. He then asks Meow to whip up some fresh rice porridge so Dao's sister can have a real meal when she wakes up. Dao is shocked that Wong actually has rice. Wong just smiles, pulling out a whole stash of different foods and even some sugar, leaving Dao completely speechless. Wong offers clean food for his sister in exchange for help taking down Jin. Dao agrees without a single second of hesitation. Nodding in agreement, Wong says they must handle some prep work first. He tells Dao to take his sister along a secure path, where their allies are waiting to keep her safe. Dao immediately straps his sister to his back and heads out. At the gate, the guards ask if he is going to forage for wild weeds again. He nods with a straight face, and the satisfied guards let him pass without a second thought. Reaching a designated fast food clown statue, Dao is suddenly ambushed by Guan, who orders him to freeze or she will shoot. She gets totally confused, seeing the little girl wearing Wong's clothes. Dao explains that Wong sent him and shows her his phone. Guan reads a message from Wong telling her to just trust Dao and follow along. She needs to bring the kid to their secret base first, then head back to town with Dao. Guan reads this and agrees to cooperate. They reach the base where Chengping and the squad are waiting. A girl takes charge of Zolu, assuring Dao that his sister will be totally fine. When Chengping asks if they can trust this guy, Guan confirms that Wong vouched for him. She then hops on Dao's back, feeling excited to reunite with Wong in town. Meow admits she did not expect the city defenses to be this weak. With Guan successfully smuggled inside, Wong says it is time to plan their strike on Jin, who lives in the penthouse. But Dao warns that security in his building is ridiculously tight, making a quiet break-in practically impossible. Over 20 armed guards patrol the area constantly, and even if you sneak past them, every single floor has its own fortified checkpoint. Since Dao knows the layout from his expedition days, Wong suggests they both sign up tomorrow. Once they are inside the ranks, they can figure out a way to infiltrate the penthouse. Dao warns that once you sign up, they hold you at gunpoint so you cannot back out and march you straight to the North City. Wong plans to take them out once they leave town, but Dao notes that the expedition team is packed with over a dozen armed mercenaries. Pulling a massive bag from his system inventory, Wong just smiles and asks if this helps. Dao opens it and gasps at the mountain of guns Wong looted in the last city. Wong reveals he has plenty more in reserve and plans to distribute them to the other expedition members so they can all fight back. With firepower like this, Dao realizes they actually have a shot at overthrowing Jin. Wong agrees, but notes they still need to stay extremely careful. He admits he is a bit worried about the girls getting into trouble. Right on cue, Guan and Meow walk in wearing brand new outfits. The guys are left speechless because the girls are literally dressed in revealing dancer uniforms. Wong facepalms and demands they change immediately. The next morning, the mission begins. A tough guy named Captain Lee steps up, shouting that he is in charge now. Anyone who dares to slack off or disobey gets a bullet. To prove his point, the captain slaps a distracted recruit. Dao steps in, arguing that half these starving people barely have the energy to stand, let alone jump to attention. The captain respects Dao, but warns him not to challenge his power. Dao is ready to throw down, but Wong steps in to apologize and diffuse the tension. Wong whispers to Dao that starting a fight now is suicide. They need to slip out of the city first, but then the captain asks if Wong is new here. After Wong nods, the captain gets suspicious. Why would a rookie eagerly volunteer for a death mission? He eyes Wong's massive backpack, expecting it to be filled with stolen loot, but when he opens it, he finds absolutely nothing inside. Annoyed, the captain slaps him and warns him against stealing before ordering everyone to move out. Once they start marching, Dao asks Wong what happened to all the gear he had packed in that bag earlier. Wong just grins. It is a total secret. High above, Jin asks Zhang if their captain scheme will actually work, and Zhang promises everything is perfectly on track. He explains that their previous failure happened because they wandered into Monarch Wanderer territory. This time, the expedition team will act as cannon fodder to lure the beasts away, leaving Captain Lee free to rob the vault. Jin is absolutely thrilled, bragging that he can finally build his ultimate dream, a massive, solid gold statue of himself right in the city center. He also orders Zhang to find him some new girls, since he is bored of his current collection. Meanwhile, down in the town, jaws drop as Guan and Meow walk by, looking absolutely stunning in gorgeous outfits. The girls head toward the local job broker. At the same time, Wong and Dao march with the team, noticing the streets getting sketchier and more abandoned by the minute. Dao explains, this is totally normal. This sector used to be the liveliest part of the northern city, but when the apocalypse struck, helpless citizens were trapped and mutated into brainless wanderers. Now, it is a complete ghost town, decaying daily. Dao whispers, asking when to strike, but Wong tells him to stay cool and wait. Suddenly, A familiar face from the crowd warns them from behind not to try anything reckless. Escaping is suicide, he says, but he promises not to snitch to Captain Lee since the duo previously saved his life. He warns them that escaping is impossible, but this mission is different because Jin promised massive rewards. Dao asks if those rewards involve tracking down Jin's gold, and the man nods. Rumors about the gold are why he signed up. He whispers that Jin discovered a massive stash of pure gold hidden inside the central bank in the northern district. Before the world ended, banks secured all their precious gold in that vault. We are talking a mind-blowing fortune, just sitting there untouched. Since the collapse, people only cared about food, leaving the gold forgotten. Wong smiles internally, realizing this gold is exactly what he needs to upgrade his system, but the guards suddenly shout at them to hurry up. Wong quietly asks if this rumor is actually legit. The man swears it is, admitting he literally traded half of his ration bread to one of Jin's lackeys just to get this insider info. Wong asks what kind of insane reward is actually worth trading precious bread and risking his life for in this wasteland. He jokes that a regular guy probably has no use for gold anyway. The man agrees, but reveals that this time, Jin is paying out in real meat. Hearing this, Wong promises him a fair share of the prize. Dao then worries about crossing paths with a deadly monarch wanderer. Wong tells him their main priority is getting that gold first, and Dao easily agrees to the plan. Led by Jin's thugs, they march deep into the North District. Broad daylight, but their huge group still gets jumped by wanderers. To keep their true power hidden, Dao and Wong use basic, trashy weapons to fend off the monsters, while the other terrified survivors freeze and refuse to even fight. Jin's lazy guards just stand back, refusing to waste a single bullet unless they absolutely have to. But against all odds, after one long struggle, our crew finally reaches the massive bank. But the area is crawling with monsters. No one dares step closer, so they just watch from a distance. The captain immediately orders Dao and Wong to clear the rear path under his guards' cover, promising them a huge payout since they are supposedly his top warriors. Dao tries to argue, but Wong silences him and cheerfully accepts the dangerous job. Surprisingly, the captain hands out protective armor plates. Wong is shocked. Since when do these bad guys play nice? Then the catch. The captain tells Dao to skip the armor and assist him instead. Wong immediately smells a rat. Dao shoves the jacket back, telling the captain to wear it himself if he is so terrified, declaring he goes wherever Wong goes. The captain asks if he is really daring to disobey, and Dao stands his ground. Wong whispers to Dao to let it go, promising to deal with this sketchy captain later. Meanwhile, Jin's housekeeper escorts the newly recruited girls, including Miao and Guan, straight to his quarters. Guan whispers, asking if they should search for the armory while they are inside. But Miao reminds her that Wong only ordered them to find the gold. Just then, the housekeeper knocks on Jin's private door. Opening the door, she is horrified to find Zhang lounging in his underwear. When she questions this, Zhang explains that Jin graciously let him claim one girl for himself before delivering the rest. The housekeeper is furious, but Zhang has her dragged out. He calls the girls in, completely stunned by how gorgeous they are. His eyes instantly lock onto Guan, labeling her as absolute top-tier quality. He orders everyone out except her, making Miao panic that their plan might go completely sideways. Zhang snaps. He wants to experience a sweet, pure romance with Guan, not deal with a tomboy like Miao. Miao is highly insulted, but Guan quickly signals her that she can handle this creep. Once everyone files out, Zhang is left alone with her. Zhang eagerly suggests they get started, but his smile fades as Guan slowly steps closer, grabbing a sharp knife from the table and suggesting a much more thrilling game. Meanwhile, back at the dark central bank, Wong and Dao lead the group as a foul odor hits them, prompting Wong to ask Dao if he smells it too. The deeper they go, the more unbearable the stench becomes. Wong points out the scattered, severed limbs, warning that dangerous monsters are lurking close by. As they search, Dao spots a massive metal door ahead. Wong asks for backup to pry it open, but the other recruits hesitate, wanting to report to the captain. Another survivor stops them, warning that if they leave now, Wong and Dao will take all the glory. So, everyone helps pry the door. Bad idea. The noise instantly wakes up a terrifying monster lurking nearby. Safe in his jeep outside, Captain Lee listens as his subordinate asks if they should save Dao's life by keeping him out. The captain nods in agreement. The guard mentions the rumors that Dao can fight off monarch wanderers, though he doubts anyone is tougher than the captain. He also points out that Wong seems dangerously skilled. The captain chuckles, admitting he needs clever bait to lure out the monsters. The team finally forces the entrance open, but get this, they are instantly blocked by a massive vault door. Seeing the thick steel, the group instantly loses hope, but Wong just grins. Activating his cheat system, he reaches into his empty backpack and pulls out a massive rocket launcher, leaving everyone completely speechless. Wong laughs, explaining this is just a tiny taste of his secret stash. He dumps out a pile of advanced firearms, telling them that while it is hard to explain, his actual power is on a whole different level. He offers to lead them in a rebellion to overthrow Jin once and for all, but the cowards refuse to take the risk. They would rather hand over the gold just to secure a comfortable life. Wong calls them cowards, urging Dao to explain what life under Jin is really like. Dao details the horrific atrocities, making the entire squad instantly throw up. Turns out they've been working like modern slaves for Jin all day, only to realize he feeds on humans and wanderers anyway. Fed up, they grab their guns and team up with Wong to take Jin down. Wong aims a rocket launcher at the massive locker door, warning everyone to back off. He is about to blast it open, but warns that the explosion will bring Captain Lee's men rushing in to pick them off. Firing the rocket, Wong unleashes a massive explosion that rocks the facility. The loud blast actually shocks Captain Lee nearby, but as the dust settles, Wong sees the door is still completely shut. No wonder the city's post-apocalyptic gold is stored here, because this security is next level. Wong tells his men to stay sharp, since that noise will definitely attract Captain Lee's guards. Suddenly, Dao points out that Wong's trick actually worked, as the heavy door slowly begins to open. A guy tells Wong to check inside, but Wong warns them to watch what is creeping out first. A wanderer steps out, shocking the entire group. Wong instantly raises his weapon, ready to unleash his devastating warrior strike. But right then, a giant hand grabs the wanderer from behind and drags it back inside. Wong is baffled and asks Dao what is going on, but Dao instantly recognizes that hand. Wong thought monarch wanderers were just fast, but these things are straight-up monsters. Plus, since Dao said they do not eat people, that first wanderer was not actually trying to attack them. It was just trying to escape. Dao realizes they have to fight this giant beast alone, but when he looks around for Wong, the guy is already booking it, shouting for Dao to run too. Outside, Captain Lee orders his men not to let a single soul escape until the monarch wanderer is captured. Running toward the exit, Wong looks back and sees the monarch wanderer closing the gap. He is absolutely shocked by how fast and massive this monster really is. He knows the guards outside won't let them pass, but with the beast chasing them, fighting back is their only shot. He stops and activates his mighty warrior's palm. He leaps at the beast, shouting that he will kill anyone standing between him and the gold. But the monster effortlessly slashes Wong across the chest, throws Dao aside like a rag doll, and keeps marching forward. Meanwhile, as the survivors scramble to escape, Captain Lee and his men fire warning shots into the dirt, commanding them to freeze. Captain Lee warns that another step means death. The group begs him to understand that the monarch wanderer is right behind them, but Lee ignores the warning and demands to know why they have guns. Realizing they are out of options, the armed group opens fire on Captain Lee's squad, forcing them to dive for cover. A soldier suggests burning them with Molotov cocktails, but Captain Lee refuses, wanting to save those bombs for the monarch wanderer. Meanwhile, the others realize Wong and Dao are still trapped inside. Suddenly, the monarch wanderer steps outside. The men fear Wong and Dao are already dead, while Captain Lee happily decides to let this group of cannon fodder distract the beast. The men open fire, but the bullets literally bounce off. With an angry leap, the monster crashes down and obliterates several soldiers instantly. Terrified, the survivors scatter for their lives. Just then, one of Lee's men chucks a Molotov at a man wearing a safety jacket, engulfing him in a massive explosion that actually rattles the monster. Seeing this work, Captain Lee orders his men to target anyone wearing those jackets. Meanwhile, back inside, Wong lies on the ground, completely stunned. His system desperately tries to wake him up. Wong opens his eyes, complaining about why he didn't get a cheat code before dying, but the system coldly replies it has no cheat functions. Then he notices Dao lying injured nearby. The system assures him Dao is just knocked out, but warns Wong that his own chest wound is bleeding out fast and he needs to act now. Touching his wound, Wong smells gunpowder all over his jacket. Feeling uneasy, he grabs a lighter from his pocket. The system asks if he is planning to end it all, but Wong refuses. He remembers trading a pack of cigarettes with Changping for this exact lighter, realizing it is more than just a simple tool. It is his lucky charm, and he desperately needs some luck right now. With that in mind, Wong strips off his jacket and pulls up his shirt. He holds the open flame directly to his open flesh, screaming in agony as he cauterizes the wound. Stumbling into the locker room, he finds two wanderers quietly hiding in the corner. Even as wanderers, they are just food to the monarch. Suddenly, Wong spots a massive pile of gold and asks the system for a count. The system counts 60,326 kilograms, with an upgrade costing 50,000. Wong orders the system to upgrade immediately, refusing to lose to the monarch wanderer. Once the upgrade finishes, it expands the shop boundary to 150 meters and unlocks the beginner store. But seeing nothing but question marks, Wong angrily asks if this is all he gets. As the system explains, leveling up will unlock 4 new items each time. Wong is still highly frustrated, hating the grind just to access basic items. As Wong doubles over in pain, the system tells him to look closer, pointing to a surprise at the end of the list. But checking it, he sees a lottery costing 100 kilograms. He reviews the buyable items. First, an ammunition pack. Second, a healing divine seed. Third, a beginner experience bundle. And fourth, a random attribute book. Those divine seeds are vital for his health, but those experience packs could level up his mighty warrior's palm skill to help him fight that massive boss. Surviving long enough to use it seems impossible right now. Suddenly, he remembers his reed crossing the river skill, realizing he can buy experience packs for that too. He instructs the system to buy out every single divine seed and experience pack, immediately swallowing one of the seeds. A bright green light wraps around his body, shocking the 2 hiding wanderers. Meanwhile, outside, the monarch wanderer is slaughtering Lee's squad, leaving the captain stunned by how fast his men died. Determined to prove himself, Lee swears he will take this beast down today. Since bullets and bombs failed, he tosses his gun aside and pulls out a saw for hand-to-hand combat. When the monster hurls a dead body at him, Lee cleanly slices it in half. As the beast swings a massive punch, Lee nimbly dodges while slashing the monster's hand. But the monster quickly counters with a brutal blow to Lee's face, sending him stumbling back. Just as the beast strikes again, Dao arrives, trapping its arm with heavy chains. Lee asks Dao if he is actually trying to save him, but Dao replies that once they kill the beast, they will settle their score alone. Lee nods in complete agreement. Putting their feud aside, they focus on the monster as Lee leaps forward. Meanwhile, Wong's injured ally lies helplessly on the ground, still desperately staring at the vault. He thinks about how he has lived like a ghost since the apocalypse, and realizes this is his one rare chance to finally change his fate and make it count. Reflecting on his life, he realizes he has never accomplished anything, using comic drawing as an excuse to stay home, play games, and gossip until he became a 40-year-old parasite. He thought life would stay like that forever. But then the apocalypse hit, and when he asked his dad for cash, his father suddenly attacked him. Out of nowhere, the guy's mom jumps in to block the hit, screaming at him to run and save his own skin. While he stands there dazed, Wong suddenly pops up right in front of him. The guy practically cries with relief, seeing Wong is still breathing. He desperately asks if Jin's rumored vault actually exists, fearing he threw his life away for a lie. Wong confirms there are over 60,000 kilograms of gold sitting in there. Realizing he did not fail, a wave of relief washes over him. He lets go of Wong's hand and slowly walks away, turning his back on his past for good. Wong watches him drift away, marveling at how this guy's still obsessed over finding Jin's gold just for some pathetic leftovers. He realizes he never even caught the man's name. Honestly, when you are fighting to survive, things like dignity and grand ambitions just look like bad jokes. Wong silently promises himself that he is going to destroy Jin. Meanwhile, that ugly giant monster is busy tenderizing Dazu. Right as it lifts a fist to finish him, Lee dashes in and slashes its massive arm. The beast counterattacks with a brutal gut punch, sending Lee flying backward. But before it can swing again, Dazu leaps forward with an iron rod and impales the weapon deep into its arm. The creature shrieks in agony, but it is not down yet. It snaps back, grabbing Dazu with its free colossal hand and squeezing until he blacks out. Thankfully, that is exactly when Wong blazes onto the scene. He launches himself at the giant, activating his mighty warrior's palm skill to deliver a devastating blow. The beast slams hard into the dirt, leaving a massive handprint stamped into the ground. Wong scoops up Dazu and flies to a safe distance, gently setting him down. He asks if he is all right, but Dazu groans that he is done for, begging Wong to protect his sister. Instead of arguing, Wong just slips him a divine seed. In an instant, Dazu is completely refreshed. He gasps that after swallowing that sweet candy, his breathing is perfect, his legs feel fine, and every single injury has vanished. Wong tells him to sit tight. Dazu wants to help, but Wong rejects him and leaps off the roof toward the beast. Left behind, Dazu watches in absolute awe. Back on the street, the beast is stretching its muscles. Wong lands nearby and warns the creature that last time it almost ripped his guts out, but now it is payback time. Wong asks his freshly upgraded system for any info on this monarch wanderer. The system apologizes, admitting that despite its upgrade, its level is still way too low to pull up those classified boss files. Wong tells it to just bring up his stat screen and damage output instead. The system displays that his reed crossing the river movement skill is officially maxed out. His agility has spiked to 153, while both strength and his mighty warrior's palm gained 6 points. To use his movement skill, he now needs a 15-point vitality boost, pushing his total damage to 202 points. Checking the numbers, Wong frowns. He can only sustain this top speed for 30 seconds, which means he has to put this beast down before the timer hits 0. The system adds a grim warning. Because he used some energy earlier, he only has 330 inner strength points left, cutting his fight time down to just 20 seconds. As the system begins counting down, the beast lunges, but Wong slips right behind it. His mighty warrior's palm connects. The creature's bones loudly crack. Wong immediately circles, hunting for another opening. Spotting a gap, he smashes his glowing palm directly into the monster's face. Black blood sprays from its jaw, making Wong confident that he has finally found a soft spot. Out of nowhere, the monster swings back, sending Wong crashing violently into a parked car. Feeling like a bag of broken bones, Wong quickly listens to the system's warning and swallows another divine seed to patch himself up. His vitality surges back instantly. When he checks his remaining energy, the system reports he only has 150 points of inner strength left. Wong breaks a sweat, realizing he has less than 10 seconds to finish this. The thing's hide is like steel, but its head looks like a weak point. To land a clean shot there, though, Wong knows he has to find some way to pin the beast down first. Wong channels his palm power to lift a whole sedan and chuck it. Talk about heavy lifting. But the giant just slaps it away like a fly, sending it crashing into the dirt. As the beast winds up for a punch, Wong grabs a heavy chain nearby and whips it around its massive arm. His system chimes in, announcing that his speed skill is active again as the countdown restarts. Unleashing his maximum speed, Wong blurs around the giant, tightly binding it with the heavy metal links. The second the beast is pinned, he vaults directly onto its ugly head. Even bound in chains, the creature roars in fury, violently thrashing to break free. Wong grits his teeth, knowing his entire life depends on his very next strike. Summoning every ounce of his energy, he charges up one final mighty warrior's palm and smashes it into the skull. Just as it connects, the system blares that his time is up and his energy is completely empty. Then comes the relief. Thick green blood oozes from the cracked skull as the beast lets out a final gurgle and crashes to the ground, officially defeated. Dazu rushes over to find Wong collapsed on the pavement, clutching his face in agony. It turns out some of that toxic green blood splashed right into his eyes, burning him like acid. Dazu looks around in confusion until he spots the giant corpse. Lee jogs up, practically babbling about how this crazy kid just single-handedly killed the boss. He demands to know who Wong is, completely stunned by his car-throwing speed. But Lee quickly warns him that because the boss's blood got in Wong's eyes, he is likely infected with the mutation virus. Panicking, Dazu insists they need to get Wong to medical help immediately. Suddenly, Wong shrieks in agony as his system alerts him of a foreign biological invasion. The interface flashes, informing him that he has triggered a secret quest called Monarch Wanderer, prompting him to accept or decline. Talk about a wild plot twist. Wong's mind spins, as absolutely nothing in his years of playing games prepared him for a real-life mutation screen. The system lays out two choices. Rejecting the quest will grant him an A-type serum, which will immediately cure the infection and keep his human body intact. But if he accepts, he will get a B-type serum, turning him into a half-human, half-wanderer hybrid. The system warns him that while the dormant virus will give his stats an insane boost, it comes with some serious side effects. The catch? Hunt down every single Monarch Wanderer on Earth. The deadlier the monsters he hunts, the more experience and rewards he will stack. Accepting also unlocks unique monster abilities, though his stat screen will gain a dangerous new rage meter. This rage powers his new skills, but leveling up will amplify his dark desires, making him incredibly hard to control. The system urges him to make a choice before his time expires. Wong is utterly torn. Becoming a literal monster is terrifying, but he knows that if he does not get stronger, the next boss they meet will easily wipe them all out. With seconds ticking away, he weighs his humanity against the brutal necessity of staying alive, especially knowing his friends are relying on him to protect them. Luckily, the system adds that finishing the quest will eventually award him another A-type serum, meaning he can actually regain his human form down the road. Relieved, Wong hits accept, resolved to protect his friends while keeping his hope of turning human alive. But the very second he clicks yes, a violent mutation triggers. Wong's body violently convulses, making Lee scream in panic that the kid is turning into a zombie. Dazu desperately grabs him, begging him to remember that Miao and Guan are waiting for his return. As the mutation worsens, a pack of hungry wanderers creeps out of the shadows, drawn by the noise. Lee barks at Dazu to run before they get eaten, but Dazu flatly refuses to abandon the guy who saved him. Furious, Lee raises his gun and threatens to shoot Dazu himself if he doesn't leave. But Dazu stands his ground, shouting back that he would rather take a bullet than betray his savior. Just when things get super intense, Wong speaks up in a weirdly steady tone. He actually praises Dao for being the ultimate loyal bro, which totally relieves Dao, who cheers that his favorite buddy is finally back. Wong reassures them he is back in control. Right on cue, the game system dings, congratulating him on unlocking a fancy new mode and boosting his stats to the moon. Ready to rumble, Wong demands to see his shiny new Wanderer skills. The system happily obliges, showing off the list, but dropping a major catch: these skills cannot be upgraded with cheap experience books. He has to slay actual Monarch Wanderers to level up. Meanwhile, Lee ruins the mood by pointing a gun, ordering them to get lost as a swarm of monsters surrounds them. Dao is super confused, wondering why the zombies are just standing there instead of eating them. Wong calmly explains that since he just deleted their boss, they are absolutely terrified of him. To them, Wong is the new king of the monsters. Dao tells him to stop dreaming and drop the bad joke, but Wong is dead serious. Proving his point, he sends out a massive mental signal, making the creatures creep closer. Dao gets ready to fight, but Wong just tells the monsters to bow down, and believe it or not, they actually do. Wong then orders them to strip off their explosive vests and douse themselves in gunpowder. Watching mindless beasts do chores leaves Dao completely speechless. Lee is absolutely sweating bullets. Watching Wong control a massive horde of monsters like some dark lord is definitely not on his bucket list. Wong turns on him, pointing out that Lee and his squad are way worse than any monster. They treat people like literal cattle and cheap snacks, which makes them absolutely pathetic. Furious, Lee pulls the trigger, but the bullet just bounces right off. Wong has some serious plot armor, as the virus inside him instantly hardens his skin into a solid bulletproof shield. Horrified, Lee mutters that Wong is just another monster. But when Lee tries to end his own life, Wong disarms him instantly, promising that he will not let him off the hook that easy. He promises that once he takes care of the remaining thugs, Lee will experience every ounce of the pure despair they caused. The trained monsters finish dumping gunpowder all over their former boss. Wong tosses a spark, and the giant beast goes up in a beautiful bonfire. Dao gets the whole burning bodies to stop cannibalism thing, but wonders why Wong is so obsessed with erasing the boss. Wong smiles and says he has two very good reasons. First, eating this guy would supercharge the other creatures. Second, Wong just peeked into the boss's memories and felt the tragic weight of his past life. Turns out, the monster was once a champion boxer with a loving family and a cabinet full of gold belts. A real hero, whose perfect life was completely shattered when the world ended. He came home with groceries only to watch monsters eat his family alive. Hearing this depressing backstory, Dao is practically bawling. It hits way too close to home. Dao admits that if it were not for his sweet sister, he probably would have lost his mind and turned into a monster too. While they are having this emotional bro moment, Lee starts begging them to take him along. Naturally, they completely ignore his crying and just walk away. Left all alone, Lee gets immediately turned into a snack by the remaining zombies. Meanwhile, our boys casually hop into their escape vehicle. Wong revs the engine, saying they need to head back to the city to see how Guan and Miao are doing. Meanwhile, over at Jin's mansion, some ladies are led inside. Walking in, Miao spots a ridiculously fancy hall set up for a major party. Right in the middle is Jin, living his best life surrounded by a harem. One of his girls whispers in his ear, pointing out the fresh arrivals. Jin struts over, and the new girls immediately start squealing, begging him to pick them for some special attention. Jin is a picky guy, saying he prefers someone a bit more natural. He challenges them to a jumping contest, promising a month of free food and luxury to the highest bouncer. Naturally, they all start hopping like crazy. Miao watches this cringe fest with pure disgust, silently swearing she is going to beat some sense into him when the time is right. Outside, Guan is tied up with Zhang, keeping a low profile. She immediately whispers a scolding, asking why he brought her to a high-security zone instead of the armory. They slip inside, and Guan's eyes light up at the massive stash of guns. But Zhang whispers that this is nothing compared to their secret superweapon vault. Excited, she demands he take her there, but Zhang hesitates, warning that the secret place is top classified. His condition is simple: he wants a sweet kiss afterwards. Guan immediately shuts him down, saying her lips belong strictly to Wong. Zhang just laughs, claiming dying for love is romantic. Seeing his hopeless romantic energy, she actually agrees to the deal. A kiss for the secret armory. Back at the main gate, Wong and Dao yell at the guards to let them in. But a loudspeaker crackles to life, asking why only 2 guys returned from the whole squad. Wong spins a quick lie, claiming they hit a monster boss and poor Captain Lee sacrificed his life so they could escape with the gold. The guard demands proof before opening up. Wong casually pulls off the tarp on their jeep, showing off a sweet stack of shiny gold bars. He tells them they can doubt his words, but they definitely cannot doubt the gold. Money talks, and the gates quickly swing open. Inside the palace, Jin tosses a luxury watch into the pool, offering free food to whoever finds it. Miao watches, wondering what other dumb games he has up his sleeve. Suddenly, Jin's top assistant Wei approaches Meow from behind. When Meow turns around, Wei smiles, saying she has had her eye on her since she walked through the door. Unlike the other gold diggers, Meow actually seems useful. Wei admits she is looking for an ally to help keep Jin under their control. With Jin wrapped around their fingers, they can live like queens in this miserable apocalypse. Wei leans in close, asking if she wants in on the plan. Meow puts on her best fake excited face and agrees instantly, promising she will be the most loyal partner ever. Wei grins, suggesting they grab some drinks to celebrate their brand new bestie status. Little does she know what Meow is actually planning. Meanwhile, Wong and Dao are dealing with a hefty female officer at the gate. Wong asks if they will get a fat reward for risking their lives. Instead of paying them, she signals the guards, who immediately point their assault rifles right at them. Wong is shocked, asking if they are stealing their hard-earned credit. The woman sneers, revealing that Jin already knows exactly who they are. Turns out, he recognized both Wong and Meow the very second they walked into his city. Wong is completely stunned by this sudden twist, and the woman quickly presses him, accusing him of sneaking into the city just to target Jin. Before he can even attempt to defend himself, a bodyguard slams a rifle butt right into his head, knocking him out cold. When he finally wakes up, he finds himself trapped in a creepy, dimly lit room. Groggy and totally disoriented in the corner, his very first thoughts turn to Guan and Meow. He realizes with pure dread that Meow still has no idea Jin already recognized her. Total disaster. Nearby, the guards exchange quick looks and mutter that they will take over from here. They back off. Wong is left alone, frantically trying to think. Suddenly, two jacketed goons drag Wong deeper inside, tying him firmly to a chair. Although he is fully awake, he plays dead, trying to stay quiet, so he can figure out why on earth they have tied him up. Moments later, Jin struts in with a creepy grin. Toying with a thick rope, he announces the game is finally starting. Jin smugly brags about his past days in business, saying he always dealt with naive amateur thieves who thought they could outsmart him. He sneers, complaining that people constantly assume he is clueless, like a lazy pig just because he is heavy. With a vicious crack, Jin whips the rope across Wong's chest, leaving a painful welt that makes him scream. Gritting his teeth, Wong asks Jin why he has not just killed him already, if he is so smart. He offers to cooperate, but Jin just laughs. Wong presses him, demanding to know why he is still tied up after returning the gold. Jin smirks, admitting it has been way too long since he has had this much fun. Honestly, who does not love a villain who treats standard interrogation like an exciting multiplayer game? He plans to enjoy every single second. He orders the lights on. The room brightens, and Wong gasps. Slumped in the corner, tied up and totally passed out, is Meow. His heart instantly drops. This is so much worse than he feared. Suddenly, the other girls step forward from the shadows, revealing their true faces. Wong desperately yells at them not to hurt Meow, pleading for her safety. Jin just smirks, replying that he plans on doing the exact opposite. Wong is frozen in shock as he watches his beloved Meow being toyed with. Meanwhile, some guards drag Dazu away, leaving him feeling completely guilty that their master plan has totally gone up in smoke. Knowing how ruthless Jin is, Dazu is positive they won't get a quick and easy death, but he is still pretty confused about why 4 guards are escorting him right now. Dazu can only worry about his sister. But then wait, is that a tank? The wall explodes as a massive tank crashes through, with Jiang tied to the side, screaming for help. Terrified of the chaos, the guards flee and leave Jiang behind. As Jiang screams at them for abandoning him, Dazu hears a familiar voice. Guan climbs out of the tank, asking where Wong is. Quickly explaining everything, Dazu says they were totally tricked. Wong was captured by Jin, so they have to rescue him. Meanwhile, Jin's girls are preparing to give Meow a mysterious injection. Wong desperately screams at them to stop, but his threats mean nothing. He is completely drained after fighting that monarch wanderer, and now he can't even use his mighty warrior's palm to break these ropes. Jin steps up and ties Wong's mouth shut, telling him to worry about his own skin first. He boasts that before the apocalypse, even with all his wealth, he only played around for the thrill. But now in this ruined, post-apocalyptic world, he can toy with lives however he wants, and he absolutely loves it. Boasting proudly, Jin claims that Wong is his 18th male captive, promising to take special care of him before literally biting his ear. Furious, Wong vows revenge while Wei injects Meow's neck. Nearby, another girl watches Meow, laughing at how fast the drug kicks in. The girls begin touching Meow. She feels incredibly uncomfortable and frantically cries out to Wong for help. Meanwhile, Jin is annoyed. He can't even bite Wong's ear properly. Wong desperately asks his system if he can activate any wanderer skills with 0 strength, but the system says his rage level just dropped back to 1. But even if his rage spikes up, it constantly drains. He is under attack, and a protective virus is shielding him. The system tells him to look on the bright side. Every hit from Jin makes his skills stronger. But as Wong focuses on this, Jin suddenly whips a rope across his shoulder. Wong screams in pain. Turns out his skin-hardening passive is great on paper, but useless against a real beating.